And welcome to Game Changer Weekly. My name is John Wolf. Co-host B will be with us here shortly. Tonight, we also have our senior East Coast correspondent, Frank, doing with us here tonight. Holy shit, how are you doing, man?
I am slowly completing my slow but sure takeover of this podcast. Cassidy, you're...
You never know what's coming. Right now
it was me, Austin. It was me all along. Okay.
This is just one of those nights where everybody's just a touch under the weather. So this is going to be really enjoyable, to say the least. Like I said, B will be here just shortly, just 5-10 minutes from now at the most. He's just coming home from work. Another reason why we do this podcast nice and late like that. So this is why we have an insomniac show more than anything. And we wouldn't have it any other way than having B co-host with us here. So I just want to get to some news real quick. Congrats on GCW and Triller TV coming together for 2 more years of streaming. I really found that quite interesting, and it's just another step in the right direction. And good job on GCW, hopefully getting that Triller money. I also want to.
They seem to be the cornerstone of the Fight Plus side of the Triller business these days. So, good on them.
I also wanted to say hi to Clown also, and hi to Great One tonight. We have people rolling in here already. I'm just kind of killing just a couple minutes here before we really kick off. Just letting everybody jump in for a minute. So, Frank, I'll ask you real quick here. I'm going to give you the top 10 winners at GCW right now. Who's won the most in 2024? Number 3 is Masha Slamovich. Number 2 is Effie. Who do you think is number 1 right now with 27 wins this year?
Ooh, my thought would probably be either Mance or Blake, just based off their early championship runs this year.
With 27 wins, 27-14-2 is Joey Janela.
Joey Janela, wow.
Yeah, no shit. He's workhorsing it right now. I was looking at some numbers on some win-loss records and whatnot. The number 1 most matches so far this year has been performed by Broski Jimmy, 44 matches.
That stands very, that's a very Jimmy number right there, yeah.
Dude, yeah, Jimmy's always there. Number 2, tied for second place, Joey Janela and Mance Warner at 43 matches each. And then 4th place, we'll just mention Effie at 40 right now.
Considering I don't think we're in 43 weeks into the year, that's pretty, pretty damn good. Especially because GCW is not running every week, and we're still 40 plus matches in. I mean, we all forgive the pardon the pun clusterfuck that is Mania weekend and collective, but still, that's an impressive number for 43 within the same our fed here. Yeah.
And then the one with Broski Jimmy, 44 matches. He's lost 34 of them. I wanted to mention that to someone who was saying here. But 40 was pretty damn close, I can tell you that much. So, yeah, Great One's already on it today. Let me go ahead and get the win-loss records out of the way here. I didn't want to jump too much on those. I also wanted to mention on the stream this past weekend, we noticed there were some Mets highlights being broadcast, and
yes.
Thought that was kind of funny. To those who don't know, that's Brett's favorite team. Didn't know how many knew or didn't know that. Anybody who's on Patreon probably knows, because that's one thing that he really, really likes to talk
about. As a Yankees fan, I'm as a Yankees fan, I'm a New York fan. So I grew up in a divided house where my father's a Mets fan, my mother's a Yankees fan, I'm a Yankees fan. So I don't care as long as New York wins. I'm fairly happy. But when it comes to New York Yankees versus Mets, I'm a Yankees fan. But good for the Mets. Fuck LA. I was definitely in those fuck LA chants this week.
But yeah, I thought for just a moment there, I'm like, okay, what the fuck happened to our stream? And then I realized, oh yeah, it's Brett, and he's a Mets fan.
That was Brett. That was Brett screwing around. And I had noted Mets fan Mittens behind me, and he was going bonkers because he was not only were they on the stream, they were also on the jumbotron above the entranceway, and the sounds were pumped into the room. So all the Birds fans, all the Phillies fans in the room were chewing the scenery, with all of the New Yorkers just going, "Let's go Mets!" So
he said, "What reception did the Mets clips get in the mansion room? Was that
the mansion room was the second smaller room? Yeah, They went over well. I mean, the Phillies fans in the room hated it, but they're not human anyway, so who cares?
Ash, as a Cubs fan, I was overruled on those quotes. And Reed says, "Get back to fucking wrestling, boys." Look at him.
How about the time Stone Cold wore a Mets uniform numbered 316 on the mound? Let's go.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Oh, and the Yankees win. All right, so we're good. All right, I can turn off my other screen now. All right, here we go.
We're good. Okay, so I'm going to switch up to another piece of news here. There was a JCW show that was scheduled, but their idea for a venue was shot down at the last minute. So I'm just kind of seeing how things are rolling here. Frank, I'm just wondering, do you think there's a possibility that JCW could kind of go dormant like LA Fights off and on?
Very possible. There was, some talk in the room. It's like, hey, wasn't there supposed to be an after hours tonight? Because everybody kind of filed out after War Games. We thought, hey, aren't we supposed to do midnight? And people just said, yeah, no show. We were, let me phrase this correctly. We were startled, but we weren't surprised. If you understand what I'm stabbing at there. Yeah. It was like, oh, okay. But it wasn't like a big. Nobody was crying at the thought of no JCW on Saturday night.
Well, I've just seen that the numbers there, they've always been kind of lower, but of course this also gives the performers work.
For the record, what room was JCW supposed to go off on?
Okay, so that's kind of funny. This is an interesting little story. On Patreon, Brett was talking about he was going to do it in the pool area. Literally the area where, and they were getting it cleared. And when the fire marshal went to do, the final check on everything, it ended up being a no-go. So it was kind of a last minute thing, unfortunately.
So that must have been directly through the glass window inside in the water park then.
Yes, sir. So it would have been immaculate. It would have looked beautiful. I just want to announce here's the guy that we're looking forward to seeing. Brant is here. Buddy, give me one moment here. I'm going to get that 3 screen for us.
Help, I'm being attacked by a graphic.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you, man.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good.
You're able to just chill and talk GCW now. So no more traffic, no more bullshit work. Just relax with us, man.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, guys.
Oh no, man. It was nothing. I had just a couple pieces of small news. It was nothing big. I did some trivia kind of thing, I was basically killing.
I just hopped on that JCW talk. I missed that. So what happened? Yeah, because I was expecting a show too. What happened there?
Okay, so yeah, there was a show that was supposed to go down, and everybody knew that. All right, something's going on
here. After hours 4, and we knew it was going to be a Saturday midnight show.
Yeah, and what happened was Brett was saying on Patreon that they were going to do like the poolside area, and it would have been something unique and different to do.
For the people who were watching on the stream, if you saw the first couple of matches, there was some people in the poolside bar, in the swim up bar, directly through that window.
Okay.
For what we're going to call the left side ring, the lesser ring, I guess. We're going to have to figure out terminology for the left side and the right side ring based off hard cam. So we'll call them left and right, I guess.
Okay.
Farther left from the left side ring was that wall towards the water park. And that's the adults only swim up bar, kind of like, no kids area of the water park. And if going back a little bit longer, there was, if you remember, talk of a official after party for GCW. I want to say last homecoming. I forget specifically what weekend it was, but it was some Showboat weekend when they said it was going to be an after party in the water park, and it happened. I'm going to be polite and say a event did happen in the room, but it wasn't the party they were expecting because they double booked it versus the fans booked the fan created suite party, and that went off much better.
So did they not have a JCW show then?
They did not. It was announced. Okay. JCW was announced on the original Showboat announcement card, but as late as the hey, we're going to be outside on the water park announcement, it only became the 2 shows.
Okay.
And I was telling John before that the vibe in the room was surprise but not shock. It's like, oh, okay. And we moved on with our lives. It was like, at a certain point, there's just too much wrestling in a certain weekend, and
Yeah.
people would rather just go smoke on the boardwalk than watch a JCW show at a certain point. So
yeah,
Look
the
at
main
that.
match would happen on the next night anyway. So okay.
Oh, great
So-
one saying there was never tickets sold for the JCW, so I guess there was no Eventbrite. I'm assuming that there would have been an Eventbrite for the JCW. There's always...
Same. Yeah. So what happened, Brant, was basically he said it got down to the final, situation where they had the fire chief look at it, and that's when they said it's a no-go. And they were getting ready to pull the trigger, obviously, on everything else. And then they said, look, we can't book the venue. So
okay. So it got canceled. Okay.
yeah. So my question was, the follow-up question was with Frank, I was saying that we've seen some numbers of attendance kind of go down at JCW. We do like the fact that obviously, fans get entertainment and wrestlers get work. But I was asking if the way the trends are, is there a possibility we could see them go the same, way as LA Fights, where they maybe go dormant for a while and then come back later? What do you think? I know you hope not,
Yeah,
Oh,
I say,
there's
I hope
also
not.
oh sorry, B,
No,
go.
go.
The consensus from some people that I spoke to, it was that it's not that JCW is not worth going to, it's that booking it on the midnight slot is just so, there's too much party traffic happening after the shows on Saturday night, when you might catch some more people on that Sunday nooner hangover slot versus the midnight slot. And people, and this is me bullshitting with the regulars from Atlantic City, and that's the reason I'm here, is that a lot more people would seem to say they would rather have that Sunday, that lazy Sunday morning nooner 2 o'clock slot for JCW than the late Saturdays after the main show slot, because
Main show leaves.
It's also that people are just exhausted from the main show, that they don't want to hang around for the JCW show.
They just want to sit, relax with their friends. And
they want to go get pizza. They want to go get, dinner. They want to, smoke
get
one,
fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. You're in Atlantic City, and the time ends with an AM. So of course you want to do dumb shit, but it's there's too much going on, even for people who travel to Atlantic City for wrestling, for them to stick around for a wrestling show. And I think that speaks volumes to what kind of product JCW has become these days. It's this. You're going to hear this phrase a lot from me this weekend. It's a vote of no confidence. And I think that was an overarching theme in the last 2 Showboat weekends, is vote of no confidence. And I think that rolls in nicely to one of John's points that he has this weekend, which is going to be the state of GCW promo that Joey cut on night 2. So we'll circle back to that around later, but
Yeah, see, I think of LA Fights. I went to the LA, they had a weekend where they did a GCW show Friday night, and then Friday afternoon LA Fights, and then the GCW. I'm a sicko that wants to go to all 3, but yeah, I can see people not going to the middle one. But it's also if you schedule in the afternoon, then I think you get a better chance of people maybe going to that and then staying for the main show. When you do the main GCW show, and then you do the JCW at midnight, the whole crowd's gone, and it does affect how it comes across on YouTube, especially.
You know what? That's a great point too, because if I had the option, I'd almost think it's better to go to the JCW show, hang around, see some friends I haven't seen since the last AC weekend, just kind of spend time kicking it for a cheaper ticket price. Maybe go get something to eat, hit GCW that night, and then I don't have shit to worry about after the GCW show, but how can I get back to the party and take it easy? So
there's also,
I like that.
Way back in the day, it used to be 2 double headers, Saturday and Sunday. It used to be either hybrid or H2O Saturday morning. You'd have your main night 1 on Saturday night. You'd have JCW Sunday morning. I say morning, but we all know what we're talking about here. And then you'd have your night 2 on Sunday. Your more low key kind of night 2 on an AC weekend's always sort of more of the low key, more technical night than the fuckfest deathmatch show that is night 1. But
I kind of miss those, like how they looked visually. Like you just see it like fill up. Like I think it's all the carousel room. The carousel room carried it all. But like you see the carousel room empty, and you see cool like hybrid wrestling, and then you see it fill up, and then you see it fill up again. Like I love seeing like it actually fill up.
Your peaks and valleys really made the peaks that much taller in the carousel room.
Yes, I think the carousel room is a big,
and
like, I don't see that happening in AC or not AC in the UCC Center. I don't see like that kind of same feeling.
They stopped doing double headers in LA to begin with, and LA just became part of a 3-night loop now, right?
And I prefer that better, especially adding Phoenix into it. Phoenix and LA, that's definitely a good loop. I'd take that any day of the week.
So you have LA as the anchor to a West Coast loop towards, you have Denver, Salt Lake, LA. That's a great loop. And then, or you go south and you go Albuquerque, Phoenix, LA, but you just always anchor it on like an LA night. That's great. Call me a Jersey homer, but it's, I don't think LA can sustain a 2-night stand like Atlantic City used to. And I'm saying used to very much based off the results of this past week and homecoming weekend.
Unless you give them death match, like a lot of death matches thrown in there, which ain't happening anytime soon. So I see the same thing.
Wow. Well, I think that leads us up into night one. We just covered the news. That's how much you missed it. We're getting there on that stuff. What do we have here from Great One? It's the fact that Brett is based on the East Coast, so running San Francisco, Vegas, Phoenix, Denver makes more sense for the financials than an L. Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, if you're already out there, get all the cows at one time, not just one. So.
Hey, who's this almost died person? Like, I'm afraid I'm missing something, or is he talking about Justice?
I think he's talking in the general of you're kind of burnt out. Might as well pull up Reed's comment here just so we have some context, John.
Especially when you see someone almost die.
Well, it could be anybody. It could be anybody almost bleed out on a GCW.
Joey burned up in flames. Okay, that makes sense.
Specifically in this case, it's Joey. But I think Reed's talking. It's like you don't have the energy for. I'm going to say it, and, don't shoot me, for a minor league JCW show after you go through a War Games or you go through June Kasai versus Matt Tremont. You don't have the energy for the opener when you've already seen the headliner.
I do what John said, like we have it beforehand, and I just treat that firsthand like a social outing.
JCW is an opener. I know it's 90% of the time it's the same people on both shows, but just the context of, JCW versus it being a true GCW show, there is that minor league stink on it versus a GCW show. And it sounds horrible when I say it out loud, but anybody who's been to Atlantic City knows exactly what I mean by that minor league stink of JCW versus a GCW show.
Yeah. I would say if I was coming from out of town, which I would be, and I had a choice between JCW.
I mean, no offense to any of the workers that are on a JCW show. They're making their money. They're honing their craft, but it's just the show itself.
Yeah.
JCW was a fucking hour. So, I mean,
yeah, if I was coming in from out of town, I would say that I would just be climbing the walls until the show happens at 6, 7, 8 at night. So having a show lets me pull the trigger way earlier. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a lot of fans, this is their first time there. They just want to get to the arena. They're like, okay, how quick can we get into the show? How quick can we, what? If you want to get in quickly, go to JCW. You're going to see a lot of the people you'll see that night right there. And, I'd be much more apt to do that. Also, if it's about families, you're going to be more apt to have people with kids show up at those shows that you would at the night shows. So my grandma also runs the Mecca, and she died before, this is what happens. Poor Reed. Reed has been smoking for the night, and we can tell this is Reed. Do you want to go ahead and start with night one there, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. We will not post that.
We will not post any more comments that Reed posts.
For just I also want to put here Wrestling with Kindness. It's nice to see you tonight, man. He said, I don't mind the second show being the more minor affair. I think the play a lot like Wrestle Kingdom versus New Year Dash, where the wrestling is lighter, but interesting promos and plot threads develop.
Sorry, B, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the difference is like New Year's Dash sets up what the following is going to be, where JCW's its own little entity that's doing its own little thing.
New Year's Dash is the Raw after Mania.
Yep.
Like, but they're also two discrete shows over two discrete nights. I'm talking, you can't run Hell in a Cell and then run Velocity that same night and expect the same crowd for Velocity after you've just seen Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I see his point. He's looking at more separation of time, and you're talking about more like that 4 hour.
And New Year's Dash is still, for what in my argument, it's still a full GCW show versus it being a JCW versus.
Yeah, that's what my thing is. Two different promotions. The storylines don't really intertwine too much, so they say they don't. They're not supposed to. So, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Wrestling Bonkers 1. Hey guys, great show. I'm watching from the UK. That is great. We have a couple people on the island over there, also in Scotland, that watch over there. They get up nice and early, 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. So thank you so much for tuning in. That's really awesome of you. All right, so now we ready for night one?
Yes, let's go.
GCW
Already 11:20. Let's go.
Fight Club Night 1, The Art of War Games, coming to us from the Showboat in AC, New Jersey.
So they performed on the Showboat property, but instead the show was performed outdoors. It was in a courtyard behind the water park. I feel like that was a great choice in a pinch. I'm a big fan of open air night shows, being under the moon and the stars with the big spotlight shining on the ring. Luckily, the weather was good.
It was still 70 degrees at night, so it was fine.
Beautiful. Yeah, I had some people over. They watched a little bit of night one. They also love the open air venue. The acoustics also gave most chair shots a satisfying echo that kind of picked up on the microphone, even at home. So
being in that valley between the parking garage next door and the Showboat proper outside, we were the first couple matches were definitely more quiet than they would be in the terminal or in the next night in the mansion room. And we were afraid that the whole show was going to be dead. But I think after the third or so match, the sound really picked up from the crowd.
Now, I see that happen quite a few times at AC, unless it's like a banger right out the gate.
Yeah.
What do you think that's coming from?
That's from a jaded Atlantic City crowd that's seen everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I could see what you're saying.
It's
nothing to get excited about.
You really need to impress them right out the gate to get them to go hot from the first jump. One more thing about the venue, just in case, because I know if I don't say this now, I'm not going to get it out. The venue, even though it was grass and it was outside the water park, the ring was probably 100 feet from where it was at NGI 5 when NGI 5 was in the Sandlot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's actually the same plot of land, but kicked further away from the boardwalk. So the sand pit, which is directly outside the casino floor, that was where NGI 5 was. And then we moved slightly further inland, and that's where night one was this weekend. So a little bit of context. I know if you've seen NGI 5 out on the sand in November, that's basically the same spot. You'll see it. It's still you have the Ocean Garage on the left side, and you have the Showboat Hotel building on the right side. So same kind of spot, but
you just see the water park. Yeah,
it's the water parks there now. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this one, B? You like that outdoor look?
I like the water park, but I was more excited to see it outdoors, and no offense, in the terminal. I love the outdoors whenever they do the outdoor shows. I didn't think that was a bad thing. Like, I know some people kind of didn't like it. I enjoyed it.
We were bumped out by a billiards tournament.
That I can see being upset about, but I liked it outside. When I saw it was outside, I kind of got excited.
So I'll just go ahead and say this is where we open the show. And it was very different hearing Emil say, "I'm at the water park."
Yes.
And that would basically run us into our first match for the night.
All right. Our opening match was for the GCW Tag Team titles, as Violence is Forever defended against Grim Reaper and Ruckus.
I wrote here that Grim and Ruckus are loved by the fans. There were obligatory new champs chants. I was laughing at Emil and Prazak on air having new cough buttons, and Emil was testing that out live on air. I kept this one short and sweet, and I'm going to pass it back to you two. It was 7.5 minutes long. I have a very quick Violence is Forever win here. Do either of you have any opinions on how this match went?
I think we literally called this match beat for beat last week on the fan forum, where it was going to be, we all know Ruckus and Reefer were not going to win the belts. They were going to get a couple of funny spots in. They were going to get a couple of good Violence is Forever chops. We're going to get a couple of their good offense in. There was going to be a moonsault with the joint, and get in, get out. I think that was all that match needed to do. I've made my opinions known about how I think we need to get the belts off Violence is Forever. But if they're still going to be the champs for now, I think that was a fine match for them. I think that match would have been better served further down the card, especially like we said, the crowd was kind of quiet early in the show. I think based off rough head counts, I think both nights' attendances were only about 300. So
so it was time for a change. We'll get into that more, but
like I said, vote of no confidence. We'll talk about that later.
No. I didn't want to break you off because you haven't had your chance to say anything before.
No, it's good. I'll keep mine short too. I just think Ruckus looked amazing as he always does. And yeah, I think we're about to have this conversation, but this was like most of my notes is this was another title defense for Violence is Forever, but they ran its course. When you got crowds constantly cheering for new champs, that's not a good sign, and it's time for a change, I think. And I think with all these tags,
the new champs chant was definitely a piss take chant, just because if we're in Jersey and we like Ruckus and Reefer, you can never hate Reefer, but I think there was a taste of Violence is Forever has run their course as champs. Because
I don't think that's the first time I've heard new champs. Like I get what you're saying, but that's not the first time I've heard new champs.
And it's just like they haven't cut a promo as champs. They haven't said anything beyond they've come in, wrestled, and left. I don't think they've actually had a storyline involved with their championship run in a minute. So,
and
no,
they're just existing at the moment. So.
That's the only reason we were kind of talking about the tag tournament, just to add some story to it and have them drop it. But after this weekend, I came up with a cool solution, I think, for the tag titles. So I'll save that for later, though.
Okay.
So here's what I have on this one. I wrote, this wasn't the high energy opener we should have gotten. Fans were quiet throughout the match. It came across on TV. That's even with Reefer and Ruckus being in there. I'll double frank. It's kind of funny. I put respectfully, most nostalgia acts go in the middle of the card. I put that there. I'm going to go into my next little point. I wanted to ask both of you this. I'm going to go off. I'm basically going to name some of the past GCW tag team champs and some of the things they're known for. You have people like Los Macisos. They had brutality, a no-break style of deathmatch skills. You had the Mega Bastards, same as Los Macisos, but bloodier. East West Express, they had youth energy. They were exciting faces everyone loved. Bussy, they were thought only as a comedy act. They stepped up and delivered a historic run. The Briscoes, the Motor City Machine Guns, each one of those teams had something defining about their run. At 346 days, which is almost a year, what would you say is or will be the defining thing about this Violence is Forever run?
Them finally getting it?
They came in to GCW and almost got the belts nearly right away, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Brand, can you double check their date? When I say debut, they might have been on a GCW show ages ago, but for this run, we're going to call it a debut. When did they come in, and how long did it take them to get the belts?
Give me 2 minutes.
I think they came in on Macisos, didn't they? They dropped Macisos' dick in the dirt quick.
Them come in because they were one of the bigger tag teams that hadn't been on the show up to that point, but now it's just they're there and they don't even come to half the shows at this point.
And to me, I think that's why when he asked for the defining moment was finally being able to get into GCW and get those belts and represent it for what they did. It was hot at first, but then I think it just needed a story and kind of stopped. But for me, the most defining moment, I know great one said Punjabi Prison. I enjoyed that match. That might be the most memorable match I think of theirs. But the moment was just them winning. I was excited. Yay, they finally earned it. But then after that, it's like, I don't remember anything memorable after.
Yeah, they're big dudes and they beat the piss out of people. But for the purposes of like what's their defining story beat. And I think we said this last week. I think that they were just stuck in a holding pattern because for probably Cole and Alec, if they were going to be the people that Cole was going to cash in on.
Their first match was August 4th, 23 against Macisos.
So they came in right away, and then they got the belt in November, right?
Beat Macisos, then beat Bussy, and then won the tag team titles. They lost in their first match against Los Macisos, and then they beat Bussy again, and then they beat their first like 4 matches against Bussy and Macisos, and so they traded wins and losses, and then they won the belt. So that was in November.
So the next thing I'm going to say is that local challengers to the GCW Tag Team Champion are, on average, younger guys. I feel that younger GCW Tag Champs may make for a matchup that's faster paced and more exciting. Fans want that. I'm hoping wheels are turning on that Garbage Daddy's tag run right about now. Because of that reason, I feel like it's a little bit more of an even playing field when you have 2 young guns versus 2 other young guns that are hungry also. But I didn't know if anybody else wanted to mention anything.
I mean, we all knew that Ruckus and Reefer were not winning the belt by
I have a new set of names other than Garbage Daddies later. Part of my little tag team retool here.
Oh, I like it already. So yeah, that was the end of that then. And one of my favorite things, we went to a backstage segment. We had a coin toss to see who has the advantage in the cage. Team GCW won. I was honestly confused because, again, we all know basically the heel team is always supposed to outnumber the faces until the end, unless, of course, there's a good reason, which we found out later.
And it was, and we all kind of called that in the crowd was like, oh, I guess they're saving whoever the heel mystery is for the last man. I think that's the only reason they would flip that script.
I want to put this up right here because I think that may be a strong statement also. I think Jacob and Zilla were supposed to take the titles at Collective. Really well said there. Just a side note, Joey had a cool Crypt Keeper shirt. Anybody that ever watched Tales from the Crypt would appreciate that little cult symbol he had there. Anything else on that first match anybody wanted to mention?
No.
I like the coin flip issue. Yeah, we talked about it when we first saw it the first couple of times.
That leads into the video production and like the more backstage and like the packages buffering between matches, cutting away to either a trailer from last week leading into the next match, or things like a coin toss, or someone running around looking for a mystery opponent, like Heath Slater style, looking like, I need a tag partner. Who's got a tag partner? Those kind of bits. I think that works pretty well. So
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
That's the NyQuil talking at this point. Jesus.
Oh yeah, Frank's on NyQuil and I'm under the weather. So good luck, buddy.
And I'm still talking
off 11 hours work.
Oh yeah. So.
All right. Our second match was Alec Price versus Gringo Loco.
Great one. I'll bring that back up about Ali bringing the 5th man to GCW. I have words about the cage match, and we will definitely be coming back to that. So
okay, yes. So with Alec Price versus Gringo Loco, I put this would have been a better choice for an opener. The physical pace was quicker and everything was more athletic. A couple spots worth mentioning. Gringo's split-legged moonsault was beautiful, and there was a perfect Spanish fly where both men hit the mat at the same time, which to me is poetry. Give Price credit for stepping up his game to match Gringo's unique skill set. He was in control for a good portion of the match, and huge respect to Gringo for going out there and doing his best thing for Alec. The winner in this one I have is Alec Price. He had that blockbuster into the 720 spinning DDT. Any thoughts on this match?
I'll go real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. This one got pushed aside just based off all the other shit that happened this weekend. So
I'll let you gather your thoughts.
Take it away. Take it away.
I just thought this was going to be a good showcase of their innovation. Gringo Loco had I forgot what the spot was here. I was hoping you had it there, but you didn't. And I don't know exactly what he did, but I know he pulled out like a new spot early on in the match. I was like, holy shit, like Gringo keeps on adding to his bag, and I love seeing. That's why I love seeing Gringo Loco always in a GCW ring, and he still continues to like impress us and show us he's like we want to put the belt on him, but he's always making his opponents look good. And Alec Price, especially this one, keeps I think cementing himself as the next big thing in wrestling. And I just love the creativity and the fluidity that this match had. And yeah, this one I agree with you. This would have been definitely a better opener, but I think this is what got the crowd more into it. Is when I
think the one thing I do remember from this match was Gringo's reversal of Alec Price. I think it was a Hurricane Rana Alec was trying to pull, and then Gringo reversed it into that inside out power bomb.
That might have been the spot I was thinking.
He wrapped him up, and yeah,
that inside out spin power bomb. I think that might have been the hallucinogenic drugs talking that night, but I think that was one of the best spots of the night.
That was probably the note I wrote. I should have wrote the exact move like how John did, but
it was like that Hurricane Rana that he wrapped him up inside out, spun him around, and dropped him into a power bomb. I think that was one of the best spots that night, save for the cage match. But I think that's a different category at this point. So,
and then I tweeted out to Great One. I'm like, I wonder how he's feeling after seeing that finish he's been asking for. All right, our third matchup was for the JCW Championship as Masha Slamovich defends it against Kerry Morton.
All right, well, here I have Griffin McCoy on the mic with Dave Prazak. He's well-spoken. I think he did a great job. Kerry cuts a promo, fans becoming restless and start "We Want Glass" chants. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I like him as a potential JCW champ, just not now because I'm healed out. That's something we spoke about on a previous show. Masha took a beating throughout the match until about mid-match, and that's where Griffin interfered. Fans chanted chicken shit at Kerry. B was talking again on a previous show about chicken shit heels and how many there are at this time. Normally, I would say Kerry would stick out more on the card, but we already have at least 5 antagonist chicken shit heels on here, so it kind of blended in with all the others, and it drowned out what Kerry's really good at. I have that Griffin attacks during a Masha pin, and the match ended via DQ. Our winner here was Masha Slamovich in 12 minutes and 22 seconds.
Kerry Morton is if he keeps going, I said this months ago. You can go back months ago on this podcast, and I said the same thing, that Kerry Morton running as an old school 80s territory heel is fucking money. And right now, because they wasted bringing Kerry Morton in on specifically this weekend because of the crowd did not deserve Kerry as I think that's what B was alluding to. Yep. If you want to bring Kerry Morton in, he needs to come in more. If this was the only Kerry Morton weekend we got in a minute, I think it was a waste of the Kerry Morton, fly out. He deserves a better show than this weekend was.
So for me, if Griffin wasn't involved in this and this was just straight like Masha versus Kerry, I'd be all for it. I think Griffin's bringing this down. No offense, I'm done with this top guy stuff. I'm so done with it.
He just bought a watch, bro.
Fuck the watch.
He's got a watch. No, dude, he's got a watch.
I know about the damn watch. I'm cool with Kerry being that person. Get Griffin out of the equation. I'm cool with Kerry versus Masha. I wrote here I think Masha she's above this JCW title. I don't think this is the right role for her. This is not on her. This is I think she's way above it. She's part of something I'll talk about later too. But this is a belt I want to see Kerry feuding with it with like Alec Price.
If we're treating the JCW belt as an IC belt at this point, which I think you could agree with. I think you could agree with me. That's what they're trying to treat it as, that IC workhorse belt. I think Masha has it, but that leads back into my JCW minor league stink point made ago. Like if this was not the JCW belt, and this was more of, I don't know what we would call it, but for the sake of argument, we're going to call this concept the GCW IC belt, right?
Yeah.
That would be fine. You've seen how many world champions have you seen gone down to the IC belt and still kill?
I just think it's too early when you got the names like for Kerry and Alec Price and stuff, like people that deserve it, especially Masha just got done losing that title, like losing that belt, and then now has the JC title. When the other people, I think for what that title, I think it represents too as IC is like, I get why you want to like you would use her to build it up. But I think it's too early in the
You see
title.
more as
She's only
you
second.
see more as a never belt.
Yeah,
You
but
see-
she's only the second title holder. Like, I think they need to keep on building it with young names and talent and building a prestige on it. I think just throwing her right there right after Jordan. I mean, it has high prestige, but then you got people like Griffin McCoy going after that kills that prestige. And I think that's what's ruining it. If she was defending it against like better level quality, like how Jordan's was against Mance and I forgot, like he had a run full of names over a year ago, but he had a run full of names that made sense.
You could just link to the GCW roster for the amount of defenses that Jordo had. So
yeah, but I think it made sense in that way where like Masha going from world GCW champion to JCW and going against Griffin McCoy is I think way too many steps down for I think that JCW title should be.
I will also say I think she's a good holder because she's a heavy wrestling style wrestler. I think she does always show up and she has a good attitude about her. Does she need the belt? I don't know about that because her popularity and everything that we know about her is so strong that you know what I mean? It's like having a nice girl and then you put one of those little 25, 50-cent candy bracelets on her. Like, does she really need it? She's just as good without
it. Had like all that stuff. That's why I think she just had too much, or not. She just had way better at the moment, or just recently than what this belt should be for what I think it should be right now.
Well, if they treat it like NXT,
I'd keep building names exactly.
So I just want to put this on here real quick because this was written earlier and we kind of blew through it, but he said, I don't mind the second show being more minor affair. I think the play a lot of, oh yeah, actually shit. I'm so sorry we mentioned that. It was this one right here. JCW be better if it was a different roster and treated like a true developmental league where match winners can get a shot at wrestling on the GCW show. The only thing against that may be that it's an independent company. Outside of that though, I initially thought that's what it was all about. You know, you got Young, Dumb, and Broke down there. You've got all kinds of people down there that were basically just busting ass on those JCW shows. And
then it became just like, hey, who's around
muddy.
For day two? And who needs a booking for day two? It's like,
right. The importance came down. The importance level came down there.
I got to be fair here and go over here. I talked way before this top guy shit how much I loved Griffin McCoy.
And I hated him, and now I like him.
Once this top guy shit came out, I was done for it. I hated it. I really think like that's the kind of matches he needs with Jordan Oliver. Like outside of the match with Jordan, he wasn't really having, I think, too good of matches. And I think that's not fully on him. I think he has a lot of potential and he's like a good person for the JCW title, but like right now, not at the moment. But I do like Griffin McCoy. I just hate the gimmick right now.
I think Great One's comment about she's above losing to anybody. I think that's a failure to book anybody competent to become that third.
Yep.
That's more of a booking issue.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I won't argue that at all. Anybody else have anything to say about that third match?
No, that was it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Our fourth match was Sidney Hakim versus Leon Slater.
Yes, the meeting of two physically gifted phenoms. This was Leon Slater's 18th appearance at GCW. He debuted at GCW in Liverpool on September 16, 2022 in a four-way match against Joe Lando, Cole Radrick, and Tony Deppen. I have that Sidney walks into this match undefeated at 8-0. Let's see here. What else do I have here? I just put that it's a match worth watching. One of the highlights of the evening. I was looking at Cage Match and seeing what people had to say on there, and they had the same thing to say. Our winner here was Sidney Hakim. He improves to 9-0 with one draw. I wrote here respectfully, I've seen better out of both. I expected more on any other card that could have been the potential match of the night. It was missing some things that I can't put my finger on. I don't know if it was just they were needing to feed off the energy of the crowd and it wasn't as much as they needed or what it was, but I had high expectations because I love both of these wrestlers a lot. And we've all three seen what they're capable of. These are two of the best. It should have been Mania level fucking going at it. And they were given 12 minutes to do so.
Yeah.
I just felt like there was some lulls here. And it's really interesting to see, lulls with two people that can just go. Respectfully, to your guys' opinion.
I think that kind of like I don't want to blame this on like Leon, but like I think both are still kind of very young, and I think like just like during the match it didn't just kind of mesh well, like timing wise or whatever. Like it just didn't mesh well. Yeah, like I was expecting more of it too, but I don't want to blame like Leon for being young or Sydney for only having 8 matches on the indies or however many matches. I think it was just bad timing and didn't just mesh well this one night. I think you give it another time and it will be a way better, and I think it will hit the spot that I was kind of expecting as well in this match. But I still loved it.
I think Reed hit it on the head here. It's like I'm loving Sydney, but where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Well, this is where possibly the JCW would be a good chance for him to really cut his teeth as an ICW. And then after 10, 15 wins, championship challenge.
I would put it like an extreme, like how kind of like when AJ Gray had the belt and was defending in scrambles. I think Akeem in a scramble match and just kind of doing some crazy shit around the ring, like preventing people from winning the match, but also doing some shit to like creative stuff and with the multi-person matchups. Exactly. And like come in and kind of like do some crazy moves in a scramble setting. I think that would be kind of fun to see him kind of be an extreme title, in my opinion.
Sydney had this win streak, but he's nowhere close to a title or anything beyond wrestling other high flyers. I would just put at the end of that at this time. Yeah. I still see a lot of growth potential in him. So that's something, I'm kind of curious how that one's going to go. Same thing. Was there anything else we wanted to mention in this match?
It sure was a wrestling match. I mean, no notes really.
We sound incredibly negative. I'm not going to kid you, but I mean that's just kind of how some of this fell.
Yeah, I was expecting more. Like I was happy to see Leon back. I think maybe that's why I felt a little bit better seeing him back. But I just feel like timing wise, it just didn't mesh well as I thought it would be. Like as well as he did with Myron Reed. Like that one just meshed well right from the get go. This one just felt a little off. All right, our 5th matchup was a scramble match, as it was for the #1 contendership for whatever. There was never clarification on it until the end.
Reed kind of we're in that IGN. We're that IGN 7. It's like we're calling this there, but because we're not glowing about it and we're not glazing it, it sounds like we're being assholes about it. No, We've
seen better from them both.
It existed, and it was not the worst thing I've ever done with my life. And I went to a wrestling show. It was good, but it's just I'm not gonna be sitting here screaming from the rooftops that this was the best wrestling show I've ever seen.
And if 300,
I love them both.
And if 300 and some to 400, maybe even 500 showed up for one of the most important GCW weekends of the year, to get sub 700 is really scary. Because we've been building for years now. And we'll talk about this when we hit Joey's point, but I think this weekend may have been an eye opener when there's still 2nd row seats available. Now, again, there was a lot of 1st row seats because you have the double ring. So obviously if you just sell out front row, you're actually selling out 3 rows of tickets, maybe even a 4 row of tickets. But, yeah. But still, when you look at it from above, when I was posting pictures, I'm going, damn, why isn't that yard more? Yeah, like where and we're going to talk about that more for sure.
The standing room crowd tended to congregate more behind hard cam versus against hard cam, so that kind of affected it. What have you? There was just more people were standing from the hard cam side rather than on the hard cam side. If we're talking hard cam is south facing north, I mean, whatever. Yeah. Everybody was on that south side behind the hard cams, so.
What killed it for me?
What's that?
What killed for me was when Alec Price came out and like he's not being mobbed. Like the entranceway was empty. Like I'm sorry, but like that kind of kills the feel there too.
Part of the play.
I was expecting to get mobbed.
Everybody that would have been in that mob was in one of those 17,000 front row seats. So.
Yeah, I think that took it away. Like I felt that moment, like, oh man, like I'm missing like the mob, AJ Gray, the Nick Gage, like the crowd, like the entrances were like, the carousel room, man. Sorry.
Like I said, that it's just that there were so many people who would normally be riding that entranceway, who would be, hyping up whoever's coming out the curtain, were just in front row seats this weekend or not there. So.
All right, going back to the scramble, we have Mr. Danger, Lou Nixon, John Wayne Murdoch, Bam Sullivan, Too Tough Tony, and Ciclope.
You stopped yourself. You almost said Lou Dixon. If I fuck that up from here on out, because I heard Lou Dixon.
You got that. I did have to stop myself.
Well,
I'm
here's the
thinking
thing,
Billy,
Frank.
like Billy Dixon, Lou Dixon. Come on now.
Frank, there's
Okay.
been times where we fucked up a name of a Japanese wrestler and then we
That's
can't
fair.
get the fucking name right for the rest of the it happens. Okay, so in this match here, this is a 12-minute match. Two fan favorites, Mr. Danger and Too Tough Tony, are in here. Let's not lose either of these men, please, GCW. Ciclope is way over with the fans. His trajectory is quite high right now. Welcome back, Ban Sullivan, and fans love Lou Nixon. Murdoch walked out with dual tennis rackets covered in gusset plates. Why the
That's
hell
a
did anyone
great
give
new weapon.
Murdoch weapons?
That's a great
the
new
weapon
weapon
of the
that needs to be
weekend.
used more.
I love it.
Whoever, I don't know, Ash, if you're still in here, whatever weapon master came up with, what up, Bizard? Whatever weapon master came up with the gusset tennis rackets, yes,
Bravo.
more of that.
Yep. They did a damn good job there. Before the match was starting, Tony's pouring drinks down the throats of Emil, Lou Nixon, and the rest of his opponents. There are weapons everywhere, and the match hasn't started yet. We had an umbrella, chairs everywhere, doors broken, barbed wire doors broken, a wet floor sign, a trash can lid, and a lot more. A spot I want to mention here, Ash, if you're still in here, good job GoPro for getting the long zoom when Bam and Danger were fighting on top of the truck. Bam falling, Danger's huge jump was incredibly well done. That was a spot that's still being talked about today, and your footage is being used. Those are the viral moments we need.
On the climb, when Bam curb stomped Mr. Danger, they cracked the windshield of that U-Haul.
I saw that shit. I was trying to figure out if that crack was there before or after their impact.
No, I spoke to a few participants of that spot, and I got wide-eyed. Oh shit, really?
Stop breaking the fucking windshields.
Vance is involved with this one, but yes,
breaking the fucking U-Hauls. Yeah, that Danger jump.
The only thing that could have improved this if it was a yellow rider truck was the only thing that could have improved that.
Just old school CZW throwback truck.
I don't care if Ryder's not in business anymore. Find a fucking yellow Ryder truck to jump off of.
Dude, get a truck and just paint Ryder on the side of it. I mean, just for fun, make it look as, backyard as you can. Yep. There's Ash right there. Good shit, man. I think I have a couple other things to say later. I just have to check my notes, Ash. Danger's huge jump. That was a spot that's still talked about today. And those are the viral moments we need online to garner more attention to the company. And I put, again, well done getting multiple angles on that. Our winner here in 12 minutes was Ciclope. I wrote that this was great energy during this match. And I could say that this was 12 minutes well spent. What does anybody else have to say on this?
A couple notes. B, I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead. Go.
Okay. Too Tough Tony pulling out the old fire punch. Perfect. Lighting his own hand on fire, then punching someone. Beautiful. We need more bullshit like that in professional wrestling.
We need more Too Tough Tony.
The flip off the top rope. The flip off the top rope with the double feet onto the barbed wire. Dude. He's GCW.
I think, and I think, speaking of Too Tough Tony, who was in a JCW Juggalo shirt this weekend, we didn't get Violent J.
That was a shock of the week. Like, I was kind of shocked we didn't get him during during this weekend.
And I think that was leading into this. With Nick Gage not being in the picture right now, and I think he was the one who was leading the charge on this JCW. That's another point. Great one. But with Nick Gage not to lead this, Violent J lead this Juggalo invasion angle, I think we need to see more of Too Tough or more of some of these other, like, have Officer Colt show up. One of these
I was
times.
saying, yep.
But I think it was, keeping Juggalo in the minds of GCW fans. I think it was a great include in this scramble.
It would go a lot for me.
I didn't think it was going to be a world heavyweight #1 contendership. I thought it was going to be a UV contendership, but
same.
All right, so I was going to erase half my notes here because after I wrote this, like, as you guys were talking, I was thinking about it, and like my notes kind of don't make sense. Like, I hated, like, isn't Cole the #1 contendership for whatever the hell he wants? But I know that's different.
Cole has money in the bank.
The money. It's the different. That's why I was going to erase my notes right there because it's totally different. So I was going to not bring that up, but I hated the vagueness though. Like I was like, number one for what? I was gonna tweet it out, but I was like, I gotta wait for the podcast because I don't want them to go nuts or anything. But like, I was so confused and mad, and like, I didn't know like if Ciclope even won it. I've talked about him going for the UV belt, going for the extreme belts, and why not? Because that seems kind of more his style. So I don't mind. I was really happy Ciclope won, obviously, but that's where I was kind of leading towards when he won it. And like, okay, but then they immediately put up the graphic that he's using it for Mance in LA, and I immediately bought a ticket right afterwards. But I was kind of hoping it would go for something else because now I'm like, even though I got the ticket, I don't think he's gonna win. I'm hoping this is when Miedo comes back and fucks him over and the kind of that how
I definitely think that this is a Miedo return bit.
And I hope it's to end the show, to get the heat, get the LA crowd throwing shit at Miedo. Like I'm there by myself. And there's no family this time. I want a fucking riot. I want Miedo to get that heat and elevate him to the main event.
Be
level
the garbage
status.
riot you want to see in the world. Be.
No, I'm not good. I'm not gonna start it. I'm running. As soon as I see it, I'm like, yes, I got it. I'm running. Like I ain't gonna stay with it, but that's what I'm kind of hoping this leads to is Miedo screwing over Ciclope, and then they have their big feud. But I kind of hope it's like a show-ending night to elevate Miedo, because I think right now that'd be really cool to elevate somebody else other than just putting this in the middle of the night and having him do a run in. I think they could leave a feeling going into the following weekend show with Miedo ending the night, kind of like how Joey ended the night, getting shit thrown at him with X-Pac or Waltman, whatever. I think it would be cool for Miedo and elevate him a lot. I'm not leading the riot. I'm not. There's other people I know that I'm watching, like 2 or 3 people. As soon as I see the hands go up with the beer, I'm out.
Listen, if I don't see a beer, a half full beer in Wendy's hand, just chucking it across the ring, that is a dead show to me.
Matt's got to come out bodyguards with Wendy in that area. She goes come out swinging this time. Her phone was checked. I could see some fist flying this time. Like I got GA tickets this time. I'm not sitting front row, but I might stand like front row adjacent in the corner. But yeah, when Mance comes out this time, I think this is gonna be bad. He's gonna have to avoid Wendy's area for sure.
Light the fire, B. Light the fire.
I'm not doing that.
You're looking at this one.
Yeah, Ciclope is good for title match against Mance. So Mance able to do the death. Yeah, that's why Ciclope and I think Miedo are so, as we always say, they're so not durable, flexible, versatile. There we go. They're able to do the main event stuff that Mance is doing. Miedo could have one-on-one bangers like how he did with Speedball. Ciclope could have fun, extreme. I think the extreme title fits Miedo or Ciclope good. He would have fun with it. They would have he could do the different style matches that whatever's needed for that belt. So that's why I'm happy he's getting. In my notes I wrote like he's been in a workhorse for so long since he's been in GCW. I'm happy that he's getting a one-on-one world title shot. And like for me, that was big enough to me to buy a ticket. I wasn't going to LA until I saw that. And yeah, that I think it's gonna be a cool moment for him to get a one-on-one main event. I'm hoping it's a main event, but a spotlight match going for the world title. I think that's
Reed. Hold that thought until we get to the next match, because I can speak on that. So,
but yeah, that's all I had really for this match. Was Ciclope winning. I'm hoping to see something kind of cool in LA with Miedo, but who knows? All right, we will go into the Ratty Daddy match then, as Cole Radrick makes his return against Blake Christian.
All right, Cole Radrick fan here. Just give me a minute. I've been waiting months to talk
about
this.
Hold on. All right, let's stretch because we're gonna,
All right, so I'm really hoping Cole's welcome back was everything he hoped for. We got streamers just like we asked. We also got memorable moments, solid chance.
Friend of the show, Little Skittle, handing out those streamers for everybody. So,
oh really?
Bravo Skittle, bravo Skittle.
Little Skittle came with a fucking case of streamers and handed out to as many people as he could, and that's why it was such a picture perfect streamer for Cole.
Awesome job,
that's
Skittle.
worth.
Thank you.
I wish I knew that. Thank you, Frank. I wish I knew that.
That's why he's the senior East Coast correspondent for us, right there.
That's right. Reed's already in here. Reed, Cole is so sexy. My tweet on how sexy Cole looked went pretty viral. Hey man, get it where you can, right? All right, so I'm going to get into my notes here because that threw me off and I don't have anything snappy to say about that. Yeah, so we had Cole Radrick's my favorite wrestler, Ratty Daddy Chance. That rolled before the match even started. Blake played the perfect bad guy
Again,
here.
that was entirely little Skittle. If you hear any glazy, like super, glazy chant, it's usually Skittle.
I put here
I
that
love
Blake,
you, Skittle. If you're listening, I'm sorry. I love you. But look,
wow.
yeah.
He likes to put us on a day or two afterwards. So you have 24 to 48 hours to butter him up before he listens. So just giving you a heads up now. Blake played the perfect bad guy. He comes out looking like he's mentally running on fumes and pissed off that he has to do this. Cole sold a re-injury. Blake made the most of it and worked that leg for the entirety of the match. This is something we've actually seen at a place called Grap House in Las Vegas. He pulled this before, and everyone bit. It really fucked up.
Everybody bit in AC too. Everybody bit.
I love it.
I love it. But as long as we didn't see the X going up, our two competing thoughts were, "Oh fuck, did he re-injure?" or "There's no X yet." So as long as we didn't see an X, I think we were suspending our disbelief, but we were still cheering as if it was a re-injury. So
my spot that I wanted to mention here: Cole Radrick kicked out of the curb stomp. That's ended so many championship matches, and that says a lot about the booking going forward with Cole Radrick. So in 12 and a half minutes here, our winner was Cole Radrick with a roll up 4-3. The fans rushed to pound the match. Streamers were flying everywhere. And as a super fan, I just want to say, welcome back, Cole Radrick.
Welcome back, Cole.
Yes, welcome back, Cole. AC streamers, great job. Thank you, Skittle. Thank you for the information too. That I was really, really hoping he'd get that. So I was kind of disappointed in the Brandon Kirk, like he only had like 1 or 2 flappers.
I think those were the few people who stole Skittle streamers. I did use them on Cole and I saw that tweet after the show. I was like, "Oh, bring your streamers, Brandon Kirk." What it is like. Oh shit! Cole got all the streamers. Oh no, we love Brandon, but Cole.
I saw 2 fly. Like, oh shit! sorry, Brandon. No, that was awesome. Blake seemed a bit. He's off. I don't know where they're going. Is he going into the dark?
Little Sebastian twice. So I mean,
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going with Blake. If they're going to be, if he's going to go darker, if he's going to go sympathetic. I'm interested wherever they go, though. Cole showcased a lot here. I think he added a couple new moves to his arsenal. He looked really smooth and flying around the ring. He's it's clear that he evolved over this time and got way better as a performer. And the chemistry that these two was strong. And I think the crowd too. You guys kept it this match kind of hot. For 12 minutes. It felt like longer. It felt like it actually was a good story match.
Marathon, but it was worth every second of it.
Yeah, so I like this match. I wouldn't mind seeing these two kind of go at it again till further along in the story. But if they're not going to do with anything Cole for right now, if Cole's kind of just hanging on to that thing for a little bit, I would have him and kind of Blake do some stuff if they don't have anything else planned for Blake, because I think Blake is doing a good job elevating everybody. And right now, Cole, with the role that he's kind of going on and with having the ring, he needs to be hot. And Blake is a good person right now to heat Cole Radrick back up.
Reed mentions, fuck these AC fans for booing Cole. You do like the entire Blake heel turn started in Atlantic City, so Blake will always be persona non grata within the walls of the Showboat. So that's pure, that is nothing about hating Blake as a person. That is entirely going along with the storyline. And and if Blake's character right now is being a mopey bitch, we're just gonna drive that dagger into his back even further. We're gonna play into it.
But he is an awesome fucking nice guy, down to earth, cool as can be.
Oh, yeah.
No shit. Behind the scenes, I know all 3 of us are cheering him on to succeed. So no matter what he does, we want to see him do it well.
Listen,
just being fair about that.
The front row mafia in Atlantic City, make sure we all go to one character so we can all flip one corner of the ring square, so we can all flip him off as one big group, so he can go do his
right.
He's playing into it.
Yes.
I kind of got some notes too.
That night too, that was entirely still going on with it. It's just if you're gonna, we'll talk about that night too.
I'm about to say I got some more on that too, but I agree with you. I think it's good, and I think it's smart of him right now to use this heat to further push this what he's doing, the narrative of his whatever character he's going to do, because this is the most heat, as Frank was saying, he's going to get. Use it right now to full momentum to do whatever he's planning on doing whenever it does happen.
The city that this started in with the most dedicated GCW Greek course you're gonna get.
It's not going to look or feel the same anywhere else.
That. Don't swim upstream against that fucking heat you're going to get in Atlantic City.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100% there. This is the place to do whatever he's doing. All right, let's get a little brighter here. As the next match is for the GCW Ultraviolent Championship, as Rina Yamashita defends it against Brandon Kirk.
Kirk is here, and I feel his best days are ahead at GCW. Rena's comeback had a good feel also. Fans were getting the Rena chant out there. There was a fast-paced start with glass panes and tubes broken in quick succession.
Kirk was first blood starting that match.
No, it was gorgeous out there. I love seeing it just fly like it did. Kirk was first blood. Rena opened him up with a light tube. She was beating on him around the ring and eating glass. A huge helicopter goes overhead, creating a huge noise. Prazak, of course, makes a quick call and claims the helicopter may be bringing a superstar to our show. Rena, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh like that. Rena hammered gussets into Brandon's arms, then pounding one into his own forehead. Now Kirk is pounding one onto his forehead and her forehead. They're fucking headbutting each other with gussets attached to their bodies. Brandon is so bloody that he has a man's face. Rena now beating herself with a chair before rocketing Kirk in the head with it. She calls for a light tube fan. Kirk gives a defiant middle finger as the tubes get busted over his head in succession. Rena hits a huge power bomb through a glass door bridge into a huge splash. Kirk kicks out at one, huge fan pop, GCW chants. Business picks up and tubes are breaking. Kirk hits a DVD and then a huge lariat for two. By the 10th minute, both were terribly bloodied. They couldn't move without hearing the sound of glass underneath their feet. Kirk kicks out of Splash Mountain, virtually impossible, hardly ever seen in GCW.
Was that the kick out at one after Splash Mountain?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin. That was when the crowd turned entirely for Brandon, was on that Splash Mountain.
Yep, and then he hits the Psycho Driver for three, our winner and new GCW Ultraviolent Champion, Brandon fucking Kirk.
Hold on, I need clarification here. So you're saying for the majority of that match, the crowd was behind Rena?
Well, no, the crowd was much more split because it was much more of a both these guys kind of situation. But when kicking out at one.
Yeah. Okay, I got what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Great one. Somewhere in the parking lot or Grotter Park was seeing deathmatch for the first time and getting completely traumatized.
I was thinking that at the main event.
Leave that up. Can I preach? Leave that one up. Can I preach for a second on that one? So the water park was cleared out. I think the water park closed at 8. So only the first 3 or so matches there were bystanders viewing the matches through the glass wall of the water park, and all the people who were watching were mouth agape with their phones up, recording like they were watching a street fight. Like I was
just picturing kids like at the water park at the slide, like looking over and seeing the death match.
that part of the glass wall was leading into that other area we were talking before about JCW being in the adults only area of the water park. So it was only adults in that section, which I think is why they were putting it there in the first place. The other section where there was some looky-loos from the parking garage next door at the Ocean, I think those were people who just, when you go to Boston and you don't actually go see a baseball game at Fenway and just go to one of the 7-story apartment buildings across the street and go into one of the rooftop bleachers. That's what they were doing. That's what I did. I parked at the Ocean, and that's how I got those spy shots that afternoon. Was I parked at the Ocean? I just looked over the crowd. Also, Reed's point about helicopters. Brad Paisley was playing a concert at the Ocean next door, so I think that was his escape copter or escape copter. I think that was just his ride out of the building. And there was for a couple matches, there was just a line of cars coming down the exit ramps of the Ocean parking garage, just overlooking, seeing people swinging tubes.
During the Art of War Games match, I was like looking at the garage. I'm like, I wonder how many people just got into fender benders in that garage right now. Like traffic just stopped because they're watching this shit.
So sorry to stop the momentum there.
I'll go into my thoughts this match real fast. I'm happy to see Rena back in the fold. I think it is time for her, or was time for her to lose the belt. So I am glad that she did lose it, but I'm happy that she's back because I want to see now what she can do, like how she did the next night with Blake, what she could do in different kind of more main event style matches and not just be focused on death matches all the time. I want to see her go against Mance Warner, and if it gets violent, it gets violent, but I want to see her have these different kind of style matchups to show how versatile she is and why I think she is such a great competitor and one of the top wrestlers in GCW and why she had the belt, that ultraviolet belt for so long. I want to see her do some other stuff, not just death match.
Yeah, I want to see her in more technical matches too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad she's back, and that's what I want to see from her now. And then now that Kirk's champ, I'm just excited to see all the new fresh matchups. And now we got like Lou Nixon and all these other newer names and fresher names coming into the fold in death matches in GCW. I'm excited to see Kirk as the ultraviolet champion having all these kinds of matches.
And after Kirk got that win, fans are pounding the parts of the mat that don't have glass. Some fans didn't give a shit. I don't even think there was a spot that didn't have glass on it. Kirk puts her over in the end. He puts over her record in the end. That ends a 792-day championship reign. That's since August 13th of 2022. She had won 20 straight title defenses. But for the last year, she wasn't able to defend the title as much as fans would have liked, and most fans felt it was time to pass it on so that she can win it again later. To me, I just put that Brandon's going to be a great champion who will carry the deathmatch banner with pride for GCW and their fans. And I'd have to say that most fans are fully behind Brandon and his efforts moving forward.
Agree.
Yep.
Then I'll just put here that we go to intermission. There were a few videos, but we could use much more. That was it before the main event.
All right, our main event is the War Games match of Deathmatch Royalty versus Team GCW.
Okay, guys, if you need to take a break for a moment, go ahead. This is a 27.5-minute match, and I wrote some notes out on this one. Most of us hopefully have watched this before, so I'll try to keep them relatively short, my style. All right. I have to put right up front, great job by senior referee Adam Galt for officiating this very busy match. I think he did a great job out there considering the circumstances and cooperation out there.
Great.
Absolutely. And see, now everybody's seeing that ringside too, which is wonderful. After much anticipation and speculation, War Games gets underway, and we all wonder who's going to be the fourth member for each team. I had to watch this match twice because it was so busy. Every available chant to Mankind was heard in this match, so I'll spare everyone by not quoting them. Mance and Joey started out. I felt it was a very fitting opening with two originals carrying the heavyweight from the beginning. They were having a no weapons cage match, and it was fucking good. Then the gussets came out, and it was all violence onward. I wanted to put here, Joey and Mance just work well together. A spot I wanted to mention, Janela goes through two barbed wire doors and his hair gets caught on the barbed wire. You can hear him screaming and trying to hold his body up so he doesn't rip out more. I'll stop my notes right here and talk to you, Frank. Dude, that was a man in pain and you could hear it on camera.
I was on the side. So I was on the thin side of the far left ring. So I'll get into my thoughts on the double ring in a minute, but even that far away, that was the most visceral, cringe, just moment of the night was just Joey. I mean, considering that there was a fire spot 15 minutes after this, like Joey getting stuck in that barbed wire door was, one of the worst things.
Yeah, grown man shit. He sounded like he was in real pain. You could see he was trying to keep his body up so that his body weight wouldn't pull hair out more. Whoa. Yeah, right after that spot, then another spot happened. I'm like, this is not Joey's night. And then they lit the tables on fire. And Brant, you already know, I've said it 100 times. You know how much fluid should go on a table. And I saw there was way too much going on that table.
That was 3 bottles of lighter fluid.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I
get what
thought
you
that
ask
was the
for.
reason they bought Broly into, so he's like the professional at this shit.
Fuck yeah. Hey man, if you listen, he hasn't done it in a while. If you're gonna do it big, right?
Yeah.
Instant credibility too. We'll talk about that one here. One called Manders then was out next. Him and Mance go at it for a while. I wish these two had a longer story. There's a lot of SGC history there. They're brothers. After several minutes, we start using the other ring. All that previous action happened in one. Janela double stomps a glass pane.
In the right side ring.
Yeah. It was just, I almost forgot there was a left ring because so much was going on in that right side. I'm surprised the fans weren't in the front row on the left side, like, hey, action over here, please.
Yeah, there was, sorry, camera's muted. That I have a few things to say about that. There was just not enough action. That there was so much shit happening on that right side ring, on that door ring of the cage, that combined with this only being an 8-man versus a 10-man match, I don't think this needed to be a double ring match. There was not enough traffic. There was not enough bullshit. There was not enough weaponry to spill over into that left side ring. This didn't, especially with it being only 8 men plus the scaffold plus the classroom full of doors and chairs they had on the side there, and the Caribbean spiderweb that were all on the right side of the right side ring. This did not need to be a double cage match. This was a double cage match because traditionally the War Games is a double cage match.
Yeah.
And the fact that this was only 8 men versus the 10 that usually happen in a War Games match, there was just nothing in that left side ring. There was a couple spots, a couple tube shots happened in that left side ring, but 90% of the bullshit happened in that right side.
On the right side. Yeah. Yeah. It was like the shoe was too big for the foot. Vice versa.
Yeah. And great one. There was not much of a match beyond, because the match beyond was basically Bully came out, they did the fire spot, Ali came out. Sorry, I'm completely spoiling your breakdown now, but go ahead.
No, I also noticed about 75-80% or more of the match really went down on that right side of the ring. But
see, for me, real fast, like I'll keep mine short. Like I didn't notice that part. What kind of like deflated me a little bit was, as Great One was saying, seeing it at that Grand Sports Arena and like the white and then the crowd and how full it was. Like for me, just as soon as they showed like Mance and Joey in the ring, I was just like, where is everyone? This is like, it just, yeah. I didn't have the same feel. Like they carried the match and saved it for me, but like right away, I was like,
vote of no
feeling
confidence.
good. Yeah.
I said it at the top of the show. The vote of no confidence.
That's going to, yeah, you said the word of the day. That sounds like it will fit right in.
Isn't that something, how that happened all in one weekend, just a vote of no confidence? Like, hey, something's got to change.
We got Triller. Sorry.
I love it. You know what? Something had to change. We'll get into that. Go back to my match here. Janela double stomps a glass pane onto Mance Warner's chest. Next is Broski Jimmy. It's now 2 versus 2. Jimmy has handcuffs and he gets handcuffed to the cage. And Janela hit him with some vicious 90s style indie chair shots. Effie was out next. It's 3-2 good guys. Effie goes straight to Mance with vengeance. Mance has a staple gun. Mance gets his tongue stapled to a door, and Jimmy gets put through that door, ripping Mance's tongue. Matt Cardona's out next. It's 3 good guys, 3 bad guys. He delivers 3 radio silences on his opponents and works up the fans. He turns around and all 3 are waiting to crush light tubes over his head. They deliver. Things are now getting busier finally with 6 wrestlers is what I put here. Effie goes off the top of the cage and onto multiple door bridges. I felt it was a very safe, good spot. So we're wondering who the 4th member is for both teams. Pantera hits and out comes Team GCW's 4th member, Matthew Justice. He's full of adrenaline, climbs right up the scaffold, jumps off the top of the cage, taking out Deathmatch Royalty. He didn't even get 30 seconds in the ring yet. Alpha move, honestly. He puts Jimmy through a glass pane. Both teams are eating chair shots. I can't wait to see an SGC reunion at GCW when the time is right. Our 4th member is then set to come out for Deathmatch Royalty, and no one comes out. Justice is on the very top of the scaffold. Jimmy hits him with an exploding baseball bat, which knocks him off and through a huge door bridge similar to Effie's setup. Joey's on top. He misses a part of the table when he dove off, only making contact with his upper body, forearm, shoulder. But luckily he still breaks it. That was a spot where I said, this is not Joey's fucking night. Music hits, out comes Bully Ray. I thought that was honestly that's another boss move. I'm going to tell you right now, if you really think about it, wrestling's old school, wrestling's tough. That's a boss move. Dude's like, I'm going to use your music. You could have been here. We'll get into that later. Maybe we won't get into that later. Maybe I'm scared to get into that one, but I'll tell you, when someone who's done it longer than you comes down from the rafters and said, "You're fucking around, boy," using his music, and out he comes. ECW original Bully Ray's here and comes out carrying lighter fluid and lighters. Deathmatch royalty lights the table on fire, and Joey goes through that table. He stands up. He's still on fire. Joey's rushed from ringside. Later, we find out he has second-degree burns all over his back. Huge thing having Bully here, I wrote. That's an instant upgrade. It adds credibility to the company and the wrestlers. With Bully, you get him and the influence from his show. I feel that's a big audience, and it's a smart chess move. Last, Alley Catch returns. She has a barbed wire exploding bat. Effie's happy to see her. He's pumped. He's ready to take on these bad guys. He turns and Alley hits him with this exploding baseball bat across the back. Sparks fly everywhere. You see Mance come over to that right ring, delivers the DDT, and our winners here in this one, Death Match Royalty. There are winners of the Art of War Games. What were your thoughts on this one?
B, go ahead, please.
The violence saved it. It ended up being actually way better than I was expecting. I was kind of feeling a little let down here with the violence, but Joey and Mance starting it off and getting violent. Cardona, everybody, Justice coming out was awesome. I agree with what you said of why it adds credibility for Bully Ray. Him just coming out and lighting the table and just sitting on the ropes doing nothing kind of pissed me off, and I don't like that.
The spot of him bringing him in.
Thank you. That's why, that's my thing. I'm like, unless this leads
he didn't
to
even take his jacket off. He took it. He came in a hoodie and one basketball shorts that you can get at Walmart, and that was what he wrestled in for a cage match like that. And it was.
He didn't look like he wanted to be there.
He didn't look like he wanted to be there, and the fact that they brought and Great One said another WWE washout. I mean, we're using the term washout to describe Bully Ray Dudley, but forgive me. But yet again, it's another WWE legend in a match that involves Effie. Those two things together, it's like, oh boy, we've seen this show before. That's another fucking rerun. You have a WWE legend with a match that involves Effie. Oh boy, here comes the cloud chaser angle. Yet again, everybody drink. Like,
I'm the same way. Like, that's where I feel like I like Bully Ray coming in. I think it does elevate his name. Will elevate it. He's talking about it on Busted Open Radio. That's going to get new fans and kind of maybe some fans to check it out. I wish he would just treat this as like the next coming of ECW and like help be a part of the movement forward instead of just showing up what it seems like just showing up for a paycheck and causing a fire spot and then that's it.
He showed up like it was another.
It was like Sandman.
It was another fucking indie date that he got paid for. It was not anything special. Like, he treated it as just, hey, it's another job and it's another city and it's another indie that I just did. It was nothing special beyond it. If people wanted to treat this like, like GCW is the next coming of ECW, that ship has sailed 2 years ago. Once Hammerstein sucked donkey dick, that ship has sailed.
But I think I don't want to talk about it tonight, but I think GCW's not at a crossroads. They can still do both things, but I think they're getting to a point where they might have crossroads here because of like people, not like people like Bully Ray, but like where they want to go in their future. And I think Joey Janela kind of set the tone with it and kind of helped sway me a little bit than what I was leaning towards. But I was kind of like a couple weeks ago, like about a month ago, I was thinking GCW's kind of getting into a crossroads, especially if they do this Hammerstein 2 show and they want to make it something special. Go the full ROH route. Make it I think GCW, that's the crossroads that I think they're at now, the ROH or Deathmatch, and they're kind of trying to do both.
Yeah.
But I think one's kind of like fading out a little bit, even though right now they're bringing it back and refreshing it, and they want to do both. But I think so the next step is they got to make that decision what they want to be. And I think if they have all the talent, they have everything that old Ring of Honor shows used to have and what they do, that they could easily emulate a more authentic Ring of Honor right now, but still right now incorporate in the death match when they go to those friendly places.
the general vibe before the show tonight was that even between the regulars, like I talked to people at these shows, there wasn't people excited for the cage match as people normally get for big marquee matches on these AC weekends.
I wasn't.
There was, my thought was that the War Games match should have been a heel UK versus a face USA team, and I think that would have done much more. But since we're still stuck in this sports entertainment, Matt Cardona GM, whatever you want to call it, angle, it fell flat. It was a cage match, and it was a decent standalone match piece of entertainment. But if you want to craft this, long storyline around it,
I'll admit I was one of the idiots that didn't see Alley Catch coming. I saw a lot of people mentioning it.
I didn't see Alley. Nobody saw Alley Catch showing back up.
Yeah, for me, that caught me out of left field. I'm glad because me and John, we've talked about this. I know you like. This is something they both need. With more.
That was something of Alley Catch removing GCW from her calendar on her Twitter, thinking, "Oh, okay, something happened. Okay." That's just how wrestling works. To see her pop back up, that was a pleasant surprise to see her pop back up.
Same, and I'm glad because I think this is what Ali and John's been saying. This is what Ali's needed, and I'm glad that was kind of like the main takeaway of Art of War Games. It elevated Ali to a place where we think she could have been, but now with this turn and Gage.
Yeah, great one saying as soon as she heard the music, she knew she was. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad I'm happy to see her kind of take that next step, and I'm very interested to see what she does, and hopefully she makes it her own next step away from Effie and all that. But that was the main takeaway for me. I'm like, fuck the Bully Ray shit, like whatever. I hope that has nothing to do with Effie. I hope if Hammerstein happens, I want Ali versus Effie. I don't want Effie versus Bully Ray. I want Ali versus
no
Effie,
outsiders, no new friends, no new friends at Ham, no new friends at Homecoming at all.
Exactly
at Hammerstein.
That's what I like. They were the ones that got screwed the most out of the talent. I think out of Hammerstein. Let them have their moment at Hammerstein and have a big blow off if Hammerstein is next, and that Bully Ray do whatever other bullshit he wants to do, whatever.
Give him the Joey match because Joey always does those outsider matches, and Joey does well with the outsider matches with the legends and whatever. And hell, that was his shtick all the way back from Spring Break 1 was I want to wrestle Marty Jannetty.
Yep.
And that's just become his side thing. It's like, okay, he's going to wrestle all the legends of the 90s like he wanted to as a kid. I'm like, okay, sure.
John, what was your? I want to hear your thoughts on Ali and what this thing was, because that was my first thoughts. Was this is something we've asked for, but I think it came in for me, I thought it happened in a way different form than what I expected.
From what I heard, I counted her gone.
Yeah,
I counted her gone for a while, and well, hey, surprise! That was the point. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of. Okay. When you have Effie and Ali, it's definitely a different feel than Effie and Dark Sheik. We've tried it. Effie and Ali just has a much better feel to them. I still feel like maybe there's another tag team championship run in them just because the first one was so damn good, but that's hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the turn. I think this is going to go ahead and put Effie's line of sight now onto Ali, which means that Mance and everybody else may be moving on to some other, victims. We'll see what happens.
I do like that there was at least a hint of SGC still existing as a unit outside of Mance leaving them. There still is Effie and Manders and Justice, and that's the first hide or hair we've heard of the term second gear crew in a minute. So we thought they were dead and dusted, but if there's still that brotherhood, even if it's still unspoken between the rest of them, good.
Yeah.
We still need those factions that aren't tag teams joined at the hip. We need those larger, connections, and I know a guy type run-ins every now and again. And I think that having SGC in the background there, I think we need that. and we need faces that aren't just fucking stupid, that don't have any friends and will always walk into a 1v5 for I'm the face, you know. We need faces that can actually, you know, call in a favor and break some balls if they have to.
We need faces right now.
We need faces.
I think that is. Is there anything else on night one you wanted to mention?
Nope. I got some more deathmatch royalty stuff here coming up during this Fight Club night 2. Yeah. So we will cover night 2 Fight Club, this time from the Mansion Ballroom at the Showboat. I don't even want to say the Showboat anymore. NAC.
So I wrote here, what will Effie's answer be after Allie betrayed him? What does Allie have to say? I also wrote here, front row, there's a little girl that created some signs, obviously with a little help. She had a Let's Go Marcus sign, one for Tremont, an F you Jimmy sign, an F you Manser sign. You know, that's what it's all about. I know we're a deathmatch company, but if you can have a little kid come here and enjoy themselves and kind of be above the cussing or be above some of the violence, that's cool as fuck. That's like that parent that takes his 12-year-old. Yeah. And it's about raising a kid right. Also, I like the fact that hopefully GCW sticks with this thing where if there is a child there, they kind of make them feel a little special at some point during the show, like rip a sign or I think that's important. And I can tell you that really does put a large impression on the parents who pay for the tickets.
There was a spot, I want to say Homecoming, if not Homecoming, TOS weekend. It was a rejects match where they used 2 kids that were sitting front row as battering rams for like an around the ring spot, for like an around the ring, you know, when somebody's powdered out to the front row and they, you know, like, you know, do a drop kick to the guy sitting in the front row. And I think they used the kids as the battering ram. That's always a fun spot. And I think it was
the one. Someone did like lifted a wrestler up and like the kid was like, put me the hell down. Who are you?
Yeah. It's like this little boy. Yeah, he's like, do you want to do this? The kid's like, no, I don't want to do this shit. He runs him around the ring, and the kid looks scared as all hell.
James, I got something later for Cardona. When we get to like, I got something for Cardona here to stay in GCW and refreshing his character up for that. I think might help out a little bit, in my opinion.
And there was a lot of bully heat. That's okay. I'm gonna write it out just to see what happens.
There was a Twitter post that Oakland Rovers / Eating the Indies put up, and it's like, are you excited for this? And it was a resounding no.
Interesting.
And it was just it because it's like this, like I said, it's the same old song dance. Oh, hey, look, another you know, legend from the Fed that's gonna come in and try and eat Effie's lunch. It's like,
but like if he came in and like cut a promo, like helping, like Matt Hardy cut a good promo. Mustafa Ali killed it with his promo, like elevating GCW there. Like Bully just came out.
No,
like,
it
could be character, but just like it just seemed like I'm here. I'm gonna light fire. Woo-hoo,
it's another
Jeff
Jarrett. It's another JBL.
Yep. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, it's.
I'd be happy if he hyped us up, but he didn't hype us.
I'll take it if it means something. So that's why I say I'll ride it out because maybe it means something.
It's a wait and see now.
Absolutely. I also saw a lot of familiar faces in this crowd on night 2. Our senior East Coast correspondent was sitting front row. I saw Mittens, Skittle, Ginger Mittens, Chad Mins, 2 Juggalos. We fucking had it all that night over here at night 2. Side note, if those Juggalos were plants, I actually like the idea. Imagine a couple popping up every show, then a few more,
and then
a few more.
Invading a show when we get closer. Like,
yeah, it's like where are all these fucking Juggalos coming from?
I like that idea.
Side note, the mansion room is tiny.
You said
that's like one of my first notes here. What the fuck is this room?
Sorry. You said 575, right? Was the capacity?
I took a photo of the business license outside the room, and it said a max of 575. But I think that was because that room used to be a restaurant way back in the day. I think its main use now as is like a wedding banquet facility. It's like it's a disused restaurant, so it's just going to be like a room for tables and whatnot. But I did a quick head count of the seats. There couldn't have been more than 175 seats ringside.
Okay.
And add your 50 or so GAs standing around the ring. The attendance on night 2 couldn't have been more than 250.
Real fast too, because I don't know if I missed this when you guys were talking before I hopped on, because I know you guys were talking a little bit of the venue. All right, like, is Showboat done? Like, I'm done with the Showboat after this weekend. Like, it better be outside. I don't mind it outside. the crowd size is what it is. We can't control any of that stuff. But like, if it's outside, I'm cool with it. But I'm done with the terminal. Doesn't do nothing for me. And this mansion room, like I was done with it.
Yeah.
I'm just done.
So the room was, like I said, was a disused restaurant. So it was very small. It's smaller than the Mecca. It's smaller than Ridgefield Park. That's how small that room is. And
It's smaller than Mecca High.
Yes.
Wow.
Ridgefield Park, for those
I'd
not in
rather
the know.
Mecca.
Yeah, there was one row of seats on the east and west sides. If you're talking, hard cam is on the south facing north. There was one row of seats, and then you had walking room and for GA behind that. And then you had 2 rows or 2 or 3 rows on the curtain side and 3 rows facing the hard cam. So 175 seats, 250, 300 tops with GA. There was that hallway, antechamber behind where GA was standing. And then you had the, whoever was selling their merch, their gimmick tables were camera right behind where GA was standing. So
yeah, I'm done after that was kind of my main takeaway too. If it's not outside, I'm done with the Showboat because this was atrocious night too. No offense. I know whatever the reason is.
We got a Terminal fan here. Terminal was a sick atmosphere.
I see. I wasn't there. I've never been there. I don't want to talk shit about the Terminal, but just visually as a fan, and after seeing the carousel, just tonight, seeing all these, just imagine if Blake Christian at this episode, this show was in the corner and facing the hallway of the entranceway with the carousel room colors on him. I think that visually would have been fucking awesome because, as Frank was saying earlier, that's where it all started, and then now he's contemplating where it's happening and where it's all ending. Just visually, that would have been mind blowing. And then I can't get that at the Terminal, and definitely ain't getting it at this mansion ballroom place.
I have some very strong words when we get to the point about change.
Yeah,
very strong words.
There was, it was just, Great One said there was no return date, and it was, that's when we heard, we didn't hear your standard and the next time type announcement that Emily usually gives us 3/4 through on a Saturday show. Something's fishy with Showboat.
Now, real fast, I will say, okay, yeah, Blake turned face. I'll talk more about that later too.
We spoke a little bit about it, James. We will be speaking about that one more. And also we were talking about the Garbage Daddy situation. I believe we'll be speaking about that a little bit. You may have missed just a touch there. James is a listener that had gotten a hold of me via DM on X, and we were talking about the situation with the Garbage Daddies. So yeah, right there. B's on point. This is one of the worst venues I've seen visually, let alone for the premiere promotion.
One credit I'll give them, at least they put up the flags. At least they tried something with the flags.
Yeah.
They tried at least something. I thought that was the one cool thing. But other than that, I was
I felt like I was in a fancy Olive Garden.
That's basically what that room was. It was just a restaurant.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like an Olive Garden. It's
on the second floor of the Showboat. So all the other venues for GCW have been on the first floor. The second floor of the Showboat. I was told by a couple of crew guys that they had to schlep that ring up 5 flights of stairs because the ring was too big. The ring was too big for the service elevators. So
I've actually seen pictures of them moving them on. I don't know if it was steps or escalators, but I saw them literally sliding things, and I'm like, holy fuck, these guys.
The Showboat is, since it's a disused casino, the second floor is the back rooms. It's such a weird, unused space nowadays because the Showboat's only really the water park and the game room. So the second floor is where the abandoned buffet is. It's where the House of Blues was. House of Blues ran a couple of shows way back in the day, like ICW and HB ran a couple shows from the House of Blues.
I was hoping at the main event they'd fucking just trash the place. I was waiting for a bloodbath, shit everywhere. It's a big fuck you to the Showboat at the main event. That's where I was.
The fake balcony it's exactly that. It's a fake balcony. They had to literally put a 12-foot ladder up just so they could get the cameraman and the hard cam up there. There's no chance any human being besides explicitly placed there people like the cameraman could ever get up there. There's no doors up there. It is entirely fake backlit windows.
Wow. All right, I'm done bitching about this place. I'm mad I even spent that much time bitching at it, but
The
it wasn't
only
my
thing
notes.
is-
First note, what the fuck is this place?
The people that were in that room had the same thoughts of it was a combination of carousel room with the weird, decorated ceiling. It was Richfield Park just for the intimateness of it and, the oddly tall ceilings. And then there was a big touch of this is Wrestling Open Worcester.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah.
But it definitely, if you looked at it on camera, there was definitely a touch of this reminds me of Wrestling Open.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
So.
All right. Our first match from this place is a scramble match, as we have the competitors of Jody Ora, Alec Price, Austin Luke, Marcus Mathers, and Broski Jimmy Lloyd.
We need more Austin Luke in GCW.
Yeah, they were. Jody, I'm in.
So, no, go ahead. Do you have to say something?
Literally, that's my only note. Other than my first note, the place sucks. Jody, I'm all in for. I need to see Jody.
All right, so I'll go ahead and just write here that Jimmy rips the little girl's signs. This makes fans yell, "Fuck you, Jimmy," in unison. I thought that was a nice group project. Alec was on fire as always. I would like to deem him Mr. Scramble at this time. Side note, Mr. Danger would also be an excellent Scramble regular if we can't get him in a match somewhere else. There was a nice spot where Austin had a picture-perfect frog splash. I don't give a shit how normal or... I don't know a better word, normal, but if somebody executes something perfectly, it fucking looks good. Wish I seen more Mathers and Jody Ora in this match. I just don't feel like I got enough of what I really wanted to see. Our winner here was Alec Price with, again, his newest finisher, the 720 DDT. My final note on the wrap up here is more scrambles, please, which I will also get into more when we get to the new old GCW. What were your thoughts?
Anything, Frank? My only note is I love Jody. Jody,
yeah, I know.
Cool.
It was a good match. It was a good match. No notes.
Okay.
No sweat.
Right. Well, not even our next match.
Not a problem. I'll run into the next little part here. We had Allie. She came out next to Booze. We get a replay of the betrayal of her with Effie. And then we go into this Allie promo. I felt it was a good heel promo. She had a few dead spots on the mic where if she was just more comfortable or had more reps, she'd be able to fill that. I enjoyed the foreshadowing that she gave. I was loving the camera switches from far away to close up. It caught a lot of her facial expressions. She said she's exposing Effie for who he is, only thinking of himself. She felt abandoned. Are we going to get back and forth promos between Allie and Effie? Because I think this would be a great place for two creatives to really add something to their story.
Yeah.
And imagine how fun that could be. So, let's go this far. They're good friends, right? They call each other sisters. Wouldn't it be fun if they start exposing each other's secrets? Dude, I'm the drama guy. I'm just thinking, I can't believe he said this.
That would be kind of cool. To cause some friction into what who he thinks are his friends, to cause some little friction.
Oh,
in there.
And blur the lines. Think about blurring the lines where she's like, well, you know what? I remember you were sitting there talking to your boyfriend about blah, blah, blah. And then I remember when you hung up the phone, you turned over in bed and you said hi to blah, blah, blah. And so trust me, sister, I know all your secrets and I'll get a hold of your boyfriend or whatever, or a fiance. And maybe we need to have a talk about your sunny days.
Well, yes, Reed, that does qualify as a heel promo these days because it was here's why I did it type promo.
You got that.
I like the sunny days, the label there. I would like to see her do that, something like that. I mean, we've seen her heel in other promotions, and I think she's done some pretty good work in the heel work, but she hasn't done it enough, or maybe I haven't seen it enough in that promotion more than just a couple times.
Yeah, she's done some heel stuff in Revolver, right?
Yeah, and that hasn't been as consistent as something like in GCW. We'd be seeing it week in, week out, and seeing it evolve. So I think in GCW, I want to see her do what she kind of did in Wrestling Revolver and bring that Alley catch as a heel and weave that into a more consistent GCW and start evolving it at a faster pace than what's happened at Revolve. And I think, as we were talking, I was saying earlier, we've been asking for this change of character for Alley, for her to kind of go her own ways, and I'm happy to see this, and I want to see what she does here. And I'm I think this is good timing, if not even later than what I would have done it. I'm glad it's finally happening for her, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with her and Effie. And now that you threw that little thing into my head of her possibly like being able to kind of cause a little. I'm just thinking just of the fresh matchups and drop, like not
Her
even like
secrets.
that kind of drama. Yeah,
Her secrets could break Effie's friendships and alienate him. If she wants to. So the question is, who's in control and how good could the rating get? That's a challenge for them. Oh yeah, he could be. This is girl drama. They can strip each other socially. Serious, you know what I mean? There's two different types of bullying. There's girl bullying and boy bullying. Girls.
I want to see some. I want to see some merch table fighting going on because they're always used to being at the same merch table for all these years, and now I want to see them across from each other, throwing shit at each other, like starting some drama that could escalate.
We have seen that before. There has been some shit like that in Atlantic City. There was
Psycho Clown, right?
Yeah.
No, Psycho. Was it Psycho Clown or was he was some? I
no,
think he was Texas.
The most I've seen of this before was the Macizos betrayal. Before the show, their merch tables were together. After the show, they split their merch tables.
Yes, I love it.
So we do have kayfabe at the merch tables. We have seen this before. So I mean, it happens, and it could be something that happens in more of a Kevin Steen, Cody Rhodes fan cam kind of bit.
I want to see Ali start popping up an Effie stream, start dropping some shit.
And then speaking of like the trying to work the fan cam angle, we have something to say about that a little bit later during the Blake match. So,
okay, nice. Yeah, I'm excited where this goes, and I enjoyed the promo. We don't really get to hear her speak too much like that, and right after the next night, perfect. I'm glad we got an explanation right away. I was kind of worried, like. As it happened, I was like, when are we going to get the follow-up? I was hoping we get it the next night, so I'm glad we did as well.
She was not at the merch tables either. She did not have anything this weekend. So she did not have anything on Saturday. She was not there. I think she popped right in and out for after the promo on Sunday. So
see, I like those little things like that. Like that.
Sunday was very light on merch. Saturday was kind of light on merch too. There was only a couple of people who were running things on Saturday as well. So less than usual, much less than usual for Atlantic City weekend. There was not that much merch. And that's kind of the big thing is like Saturday, if normally on a terminal weekend, that entire glass window wall is just full nut to butt with merch tables. And there was maybe 10 or so workers who had gimmick tables this weekend.
So. Yeah, that's bullshit. Something there. Okay. That's not good. That's not a good sign. We'll just say. If this was, people shit on AEW's merch spots. So, I mean, sometimes it's a bad sign to see stuff like that. I'll keep that quiet. I've said everything. That was funny as fuck. I saw Cardona's post on that. I think that's everything on that opening match. We good to go for our number 2 match?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. All right, our number 2 match is Mr. Danger versus Richard Holiday.
All right, Mr. Danger got a hero's welcome with a huge danger chance. I recommend he leans. Okay, so this is training. I recommend he leans more into his strikes to overcompensate for his size. Most wrestlers, especially Holiday, can take it. Okay, back to the rest of it. Holiday was accompanied by Pero, both wearing "I'm Not a Snitch" shirts. Of course, that garners snitch.
We all bit on the snitch chance because why not? Because of course you gotta.
You got that Italian East Coast too. They don't do that shit. It's kind of funny that they really worked him there. Prazak with the comment
that East Coast that's specifically New York. Fuck you, cadence.
Fuck you. Prazak with the comment talking about danger spot on the semi truck on night 1. He says you never go full Chris Kloss. I give him credit if you know who we're talking about there. And if you're an XPW guy, you never go full Chris Kloss. Peril got involved a few times. Mr. Danger needs a friend. Whoever gets paired with Mr. Danger could make an amazing face team. I feel he's primed for that. Who do you think would go good with Mr. Danger if we were to put together a tag with him? Because I mean,
Matthew
he's prime
Justice.
material.
I want to see this. I want to see the strange bedfellows of Bam and Danger.
That's interesting. Where's that coming from?
Talk to me.
the curb stomp through a windshield on a truck. They almost murdered each other on top of a semi truck on Saturday, and I
So
want
it's
to see them
love.
come. Oh yeah. I want to see. I just want to see that that odd couple pairing of them. Oh, we almost murdered each other. Okay, let's go. Stomp through the tag division.
So yeah, I was gonna say earlier, like after this match, the one note I wrote was like, I didn't when you said tag teams, I threw this together, but my note was I want to see Mr. Danger, Matthew Justice, like they have to be in the brass ring ladder match, like for sure. They're just like two high flyers that are going to cause some crazy spots in that match. So, and then you said tag team, I'm like, shit, put them together for all I care. Have them both flying off shit.
There are a couple spots I want to mention that happened during this match. Mr. Danger grabbing a ladder, climbing to the second story balcony, doing the Jeff Hardy pose and a huge leap below.
He did that. He did that on night one too. He did the Jeff finger
He always
gun.
does I love it. Emil estimates that it was a 25-foot leap. I'm thinking 15,
Probably.
20 maybe tops there. I told Frank I'd love to see people up there, but he said there aren't stairs to that balcony. I believe that's what we'd covered already. Another spot, Pero interferes, Perch catches him. They argue. Mr. Danger hits a huge tope by jumping over Perch onto
That was
Pero
a beautiful
below.
tope.
Yeah, Pero recovers, slams Danger on the apron, rolls him back into the ring. Our winner was Richard Holiday hitting the 2008 on Danger. I'll stop right there and give it back to you guys to see what you have to say on this one.
I like. Go ahead. I don't have much. Go ahead.
They set up the Chekhov's gun of Mason's court date, and they only played the music. Kind of a wasted spot.
I think this was a wasted match. Kind of unfortunately.
Yeah. If this match didn't advance the Mason storyline, I don't think it needed to be here. It was a good match, TM, but I don't think it deserved a spot on this card.
I'm done with Holiday. Him and Griffin need to go away. And then actually later on, when I was writing the tag team division, put them together. I fucking hate them. Let them be the heels. Like they just draw all the shitty go away heat, but they're gonna get heel heat. That's gonna like be good for the tag division. But I was done. Did he do like some shitty roll up right to win? Oh no, he did hit a finisher. Okay, I might be
like a dick kick or something. Like
it's called the 2008, but it's weird. It's a weird move. I don't know. Like I had to go back just to hear the move name.
Yeah, I unfortunately, like since this did not do anything, like if anything, I would have had Mason's music hit, Holiday freak out, Danger pick up the win, and then like Holiday there looks like a fucking idiot.
Well, that's what happened. It was they played Mason's music, and then Richard used Perch as a human shield, and then Paro got some outside interference on Danger, and that's how the finish went. I think.
Right? I would have just ended it. Like I would have just ended it for Danger to win because, like I said, to me it didn't further anything, and if anything, that could get Holiday further mad of him doing it. Where after that music hit, was he kind of like laughing if I remember correctly? Like
basically because it's like, oh, we got you all.
So it's like you look like a stupid. You almost lost it because of that plan almost backfired on you. Like you look more stupid now than you did before.
It was a ref distraction spot essentially, and it just
I'm done with the Holiday. Like him and Griffin, like I said, I wrote in my notes at this point that those two need to go away. But then later on, as I was like kind of redoing the tag division, I was like, fuck it, throw them back in there, let them be the heels that get all the heat. So I unless this story goes somewhere, I didn't care for this, and I'm mad I even talked to this much long about it because it didn't further nothing.
Yeah, Holiday said we'll never hear that music again when he was talking about Mason's music. I appreciated that there was some advancement in the story. I don't know if we needed a 10-minute match to do that.
Yeah.
So, happy to see Mr. Danger in singles, but otherwise I agree with you guys here. I don't know if there was really a reason for this one, and I don't think anybody really had it on their bingo card as something they wanted to see.
Like I said, we all kind of, like last week, we all kind of said this was just a launching point for the advancement of the Mason storyline.
Yeah.
If this match ended clean, it should not have ended clean. This match should have been a DQ. It should have been a fucking brawl after the match about something with all the crew in the back coming up to separate Mason and Holiday about bullshit about the whole fake court date, whatever. If that didn't happen, that was a waste of a spot.
Yep. All right. Our third match was Matt Cardona going against Cole Radrick. Well, I guess it turned into there,
Turns into it, yeah. Cardona walks in holding lighter fluid high in the air. This was his reference from the night before. He was very proud of what he'd done. Bully Ray is now Cardona's insurance policy, he said. He also called Effie Genetti for going through the glass. He also apologized to his parents and attendants for having to come to AC. He'll use his pool to ask Brett to never go to the fucking Showboat again, which garnered huge chance. Again, listen to the fans.
Because
and now
honestly, we're kind of done with the Showboat after the carousel room died. So,
and then we've got, quote, fuck this place chance, as fans agree. And
to be fair,
the Showboat.
To be fair, a lot of those fuck this place chants were half of it was people being the Greek chorus of, you know, just going along with it. The other half were people like, this is not the carousel room. This is not the Showboat that built GCW back in 2020. This is not the same building. We need to go elsewhere. It's the Showboat clearly doesn't want us there. If they have like this, it's this weird dichotomy of the people who run the Showboat. The owner of the fucking Showboat wears GCW merchandise in interviews about the new water park.
Yeah.
And then they can't get the fucking building to keep the carousel room or to have them in the terminal, which is the home base for GCW when they're there. And they stick us up in a fucking catering building on the abandoned second floor of the building. When the bar manager running the bar outside, when we were out on the party deck of the water park, is wearing one of those. John, you have him. He was wearing a GCW Flavor Flav chain while working the show.
Which I've never shown on I've never actually with my
like it's this super weird dichotomy of the people who run the events love the GCW, but then they have us booked in these weird far off corners of the building. Do you want us here or not? You've raised the rates for us to
take the money. They don't want us, they want the money, and we're getting shit canned.
The rates for the fans to stay there have gone up like $50 a night now.
And I heard it's a shithole to stay in.
It's a shithole to stay in. Even the newly renovated rooms are fucking shitholes already.
Wow.
Half the time in a GCW weekend, I'll fucking commute 90 minutes each way just to show up for the day and go home and avoid, you know, drinking and partying just to show up for the day. It's not worth my fucking money to stay there. I'm there because I'm like, you know, I want to hang out with my friends, but I don't need to blow $500 on a fucking GCW weekend in Atlantic City anymore.
Yeah. That's
actually, we don't fucking want to be at the building anymore. That's not me being malaise about the building. We fucking hate the Showboat because it's a shithole. There's still broken elevators. There's still signs that say, oh, come visit the House of Blues. There's still signs that say there's a pool on the 5th floor when there hasn't been a pool on the 5th floor in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like maybe there's some things that have been ignored and need to be
There's still 3 closed restaurants on the main concourse of the Showboat. When the carousel room was still the carousel room, the locker room were 2 disused restaurants behind the building. Not behind the building, but behind the carousel room on the main drag that have just been blocked off, closed, locked doors for 2 years. The diner that was a Johnny Rockets that became Brickers or whatever is now seasonal because it was bought out from like, you know, whoever was renting it, the third party that was renting out the restaurant that used to run catering at Carousel Room. Now that's all internal in the Showboat, and it fucking sucks. It's terrible food. It's overpriced, and now they don't even have a fucking restaurant open. The only restaurant that's in the Showboat is your overpriced dog shit fucking fast food court. And you don't even have the fucking money to renovate the abandoned sushi restaurant that's on the backside of your go-kart track. You put in an electric go-kart track, and your theme for your go-kart track is escaping Las Vegas when your theming is just disused and leftover slot machine fucking signs when you still had slot machines there. Fuck you. Fuck you, Showboat. And fucking clip that. Fuck you.
You have full okay to clip your own shit, man. Jump on YouTube later and clip it up all you want to. It's perfectly fine. Hey, it's his opinion. That's perfectly fine.
Bring up Reed's last comment. No, the water park is like $90 fucking dollars a day, and you do not get free entry if you stay on site.
Oh, interesting.
The big deal is you get half off if you stay and you're a part of the GCW block. Nobody fucking goes to the water park if you're there for wrestling.
Yeah. half of us aren't in shape enough to go to the water park. Let's be real.
Exactly.
There'd be titties everywhere, and it ain't even the good ones, dude. Anyway, see, this is why they don't let me talk. I gotta get back on. See, I'm a little sick. Like I
Sorry,
said,
Atlantic
so
City
my mouth
weekend, and
was just wrong.
you got me fucking heated. So
Reed was just asking about the MF Doom thing. No, not right now. I'm not looking at it just yet. Okay. Should we go into the next match then? Keep it rolling.
yeah.
All right.
Yes. I already said it, so you can keep on going.
All right, here. So Cole Radrick at the 51 mark was talking to Cardona. I put that in there for myself. I was going to pull a quote, but I won't. He said, "You can step in my ring in front of my people and get your ass handed to you. I already beat one former GCW champion. And if you step into this ring, I swear to God, I'll make it too." Fucking, that was a great little promo
Good
there
quote.
by Cole. Great.
Cole needs more promo time, especially if he's holding this this brass ring. Use it to elevate him. Yep.
Please do. Minutes in, Jimmy ejected by Scarlett for interfering. Finally, we're on even ground. Ratty daddy chants throughout the match. Cardona was practically helpless without Jimmy out there. Our winner here was Cole Radrick. Less than 5.5 minutes, he dropped the former GCW champion. This is a great sign for Cole Radrick fans. And at the end, Cole is making that belt sign with his hands. So I think we have something special here, and this is possibly the feel-good moment that GCW fans are hopefully looking for, and the face we're hoping to get behind.
Yeah. I think Cole definitely is the face to get behind for sure as at the moment here. Doing the Cardona thing real fast. While I did love the entertainment era, I think it has ran its course. I think this weekend, and especially after this match, it made me start thinking about this way. They should have just used this weekend to restore the feeling. That should have been the theme all weekend. Team GCW should have won. You have a new ultraviolet champion. Get new tag champions. Get a new JCW. I would have restarted everything and refueled it because I wanted Cole to win. I didn't expect him to actually win, and then because Cardona just got the victory the night before. He gets a big victory from the night before and loses. The next day was shocking to me. So it seems like they don't really know what they're going to do after the win. It seems like there's some confusion there. I didn't expect Cole to win, so I popped and I was happy for him. He looks really good. The promo was awesome. I hope this kind of leads to a big-time Cole feud. And I think with Cardona would be an awesome feud for Cole to kind of start elevating himself if he does go after the world championship, as Great One says here, with the getting wins over past two champions. I really enjoyed that Cole victory. For Deathmatch Royalty, though, Jimmy and Mance Warner are better off without him. I think this, last night, should have been kind of a Jimmy Lloyd hitting Cardona, maybe to cause Team Cardona or be a part of the reason Team Cardona lost, to separate himself with it. Mance, I think, needs to separate himself with Deathmatch Royalty. But I saw someone write Cardona kind of needs the heater. He needs the heel manager. He kind of needs these old school wrestling.
Without STL to pull that right now, it has to be Jimmy.
Yep. And then before that, it was Chelsea. Yeah.
So boom, here we go. There's where I would get rid of the Deathmatch Royalty. And we see this stuff with Blake. I saw someone say Blake and Matt could reunite, and I actually wouldn't see them I would like to see them go back to how they did a couple years ago now, and did the callback and kind of tease that.
We had
Blake
the thing
and
where Blake can't be Cardona's heater because Blake was just the heel champion with his own heater 2 months ago.
So here, not a heater, but part of a stable. So Matt Cardona, this is where I was going with the Ring of Honor kind of stuff. Matt Cardona starts to see GCW restoring the feeling and kind of now has to go back to get rid of the deathmatch bullshit and kind of start leading towards a not sports entertainment, but more family friendly.
You want Cardona to be in that right to censor kind of role.
Yes, as his next faction. Got it. I would start that with Blake. And I would also team him. This is going to kill me here. Alec Price as a tag team. And he has his tag team because Alec Price can now see Cole being kind of selfish, using that belt possibly for a singles belt and not using it for the garbage daddy, causes friction there. Or Price sees that stuff. Cardona kind of puts in Price's ear, causes the friction, blah, blah, blah. And then that leads to something with Cole and Price, but also turns Price fully heel with Cardona. And now Cardona kind of rebuilding a young like young future of wrestling talent, because we kind of talked about what he's done in the past, and like he's done all these things to get himself out of GCW and out of the indies. And that promo, the interview today, and kind of what we were talking about, it ain't working. So I would kind of use this, maybe him thinking, assign himself with these young next names to kind of keep himself fresh in that talent. This is all just a Cardona stuff. So I'm babbling on for too much here, but
if it's Cardona,
no, you're good.
That's the
you're good, man.
Cardona would be the perfect person to lead like a learning tree style stable.
Exactly. That's where I was kind of going with it, but a more different version of it, GCW. But like also you got like talent like Price and Christian. Like he just loads up these talented, like young, like heels and stuff, and as his thing. I don't know. For me, that's where I would have gone this whole weekend with restoring the feeling and everything else. And especially with this loss, that made me think of why didn't Team GCW just win and then start restoring the feeling now? Because it feels like, yay, we're restarting the feeling after we already lost it, and then now it's kind of already lost.
I can see why they lost, and now Joey needed that rallying cry, mission statement to.
But it's been that mission statement for months and months with Joey. So that's for me. That's where I kind of I hated that part. But I
think it's been the mission statement in muted whispers between like we need to get back to how it used to be. But yes. I think this was like to actually put it out there for real.
But I think it would have showed the fans with Team GCW winning that, hey, this bullshit is done. With all this ultra violence that you got this weekend, with NGI coming up, we're going to continue this ultra violence. We're going to continue restoring the field. I think that would have had the perfect build on, because now if they try to restore the field, you got to go back to Deathmatch Royalty and restore the feeling through them, when it could have just ended there. Because I think that story's ran its course instead of dragging this to Hammerstein, which is Cardona's thing. But this is where I'm thinking of Hammerstein being an ultimate kind of thing, where Cardona uses this time to rebuild his stable for like an invasion in Hammerstein to kind of, I don't know, that I'm going crazy there, but that's for me. Sorry, I didn't want to ramble on there, but I did.
No, you're good, brother. I wanted to mention too, I don't know if it was Ivan or who it was, but great job on the NGI history highlight package. Miedo was on there. I would like to see Miedo in the tournament.
You see Miedo's tweet today?
No, what do you say today, man?
I think he tweeted like a photo of him like in the gym or just got done working out.
Oh, I saw that.
He's like, I think he's like, I'm not done yet or something like that. So
certainly
that's kind of what I'm really hoping for LA now. All right. Next match. Yeah, I got more shit on this one too. Next match here, fucking Blake. God damn it. Blake and Cardona got me out on a tizzy this weekend.
Hey man, they're working you. They're working.
I don't know. I just want to see something fun and new for Cardona. That's for me. That's what I kind of came up with.
Don't work yourself into a shoot, brother.
I always do. That's why my blood pressure's so high. All right. Next match is Rina Yamashita versus Blake Christian.
And fantasy book, never fantasy believe. All right. Battle of the previous champions here. Rina, welcomed by fans, and the lack of the belt did nothing to dampen their cheers. She's at a status where she doesn't need the belt. It's just a bonus at this time.
She definitely did look empty without holding the belt, because she's had the belt for so long. It definitely looks weird seeing her without it.
Like she doesn't know what to do with one arm, because usually it's draped with a belt. Blake Christian was looking disheveled. Instant heat from fans upon entrance. Are those all hard pants he has on? I'll go ahead and go past the details there. Reminder, when Blake cashed in his brass ring, he fucked over Rina, who was challenging for the title by way of a TOS win. This is their first meeting since then. And I do want to say, I believe that was Great One who had mentioned that. So I want to give him credit for that. We had a "We Want Glass" chant. Glass has been a big deal in New Jersey, as some promoters have supposedly gotten letters from the New Jersey Commission regarding the stoppage of using any glass. GCW is using it, so we'll see what happens in the long run there. Frank, anything on that you wanted to mention? I know. Well, I'll say this much before I go any further. I have friends that are promoters on that side of the country, and a couple of them say that they got letters. So who knows?
I've heard scuttlebutt, but I don't want to put anything out there that hasn't been officially confirmed. And the fact that I'm not in Deathmatch Elite, but it's a Facebook group that everybody's all this scuttlebutt goes around in. I'm not in DME because I like my sanity. And
it can fuck with you.
A lot of it was just of people just saying like the fact that we did see glass on Saturday night was a major relief. That says, okay, this isn't this is more the scare letters, scare tactics than actually the commission coming down, because a lot of the reaction people said was, we have a commission. New Jersey has a commission. Which is the whole thing was like, I thought all this shit happens in Jersey because we don't have a commission. So, yeah,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, so we're into this match here. I put a rough match with a small amount of weapons, a few chairs and doors. There was more wrestling than expected, given Rina's more hardcore background. We needed to see more of her versatility, and I feel it was on display in this match. Our winner here was Rina Yamashita with Splash Mountain through a door. This is almost 17 minutes long, and I felt like both of them delivered quite well on this one. Fans ran up and pounded the mat chanting Rina, it takes two to tango. I have to say, good job, Blake Christian, on this one also. Yep. I see he made a couple, we'll just say he made a couple adjustments on the fly and handled them well. I don't know if they're just not used to working with each other or if it was a little bit of a language barrier, but I saw some minor adjustments in certain spots, and I think they both did a great job to adjust with each other's style. I'll stop right there, see if there's anything else you guys wanted to say before I moved on.
Not too much. I said it earlier. This is, if Rina's not doing death matches, these are the kind of matches I want to see her. High level main event matches. And right now with Blake, that's a good, like I said, Blake's doing a good job right now as a heel, elevating his opponents in these style matches. And I think that's why we all wanted him to be champion at that time. But yeah, this one with Rina was good. As you said, I think Blake was kind of trying to make Rina look. Rina's like wanted to try some new things, and I think Blake was trying to make her look really good with this. So I think they did a pretty good match for what it was, and I was happy to see Rina without any fuckery have a nice what was it 16? Yeah, like felt close to 20-minute match. So I'm happy for her. This is what I want to see from her without the title.
So Blake Christian kicks away Rina's handshake. He looks crushed. He hears "fuck you, Blake," as he obviously needs to go back to square one. We come back from a video recap. Blake is still in the ring. He's broken. Fans are chanting "fuck you, Blake," and "don't come back." Again, we have Prazak just shutting up and letting the fans speak and think for themselves and let it come across TV. Adam and Perch asked him to please leave the ring so they could start the next match. He eventually leaves. I'm so sorry. Well done, slow burn by Blake. I mean that regarding tonight and this de-evolution of the past couple months. I am truly looking forward to his next step. I believe he has gotten the point across that he is broken.
Yeah, that was, I think it was Reed before who said, like, oh my God, these Atlantic City fans, fuck you guys. No, this is entirely us just digging that knife in deeper, and us chanting "fuck you, don't come back" is exactly the reaction creative wanted to hear out of that room that night.
Yep.
Blake sitting right
so did Blake. Yep. Blake was smiling on the inside for sure.
And especially like I said before with the whole Kevin Steen and Cody Rhodes, fan cam angle. I think they were definitely hoping for that fan cam thing, because they were going through the motions entirely like they were still live, even though like, there was a package playing. So
that was cool. That was a nice production detail, character development. I that little thing I think did a lot of impact for Blake's character and what he's doing right now. I loved that little piece of detail. They had him just sitting in the ring, just taking it all in. And then, as you said, the crowd just seemed like they never, like as they came back, you still hear the crowd chanting. It seemed like they never shut up chanting at him, "Get the fuck out." And I think that provided so much to this, whatever's happening. I was AC. Like maybe there was a lot of people in the crowd, but the crowd was an awesome crowd. Streamers loud all weekend. Got the crowd, got me into it at home as a fan because how into you guys got it. Like even though the quantity wasn't a lot, the quality of fans was good, and I think this one was a very
were there.
One.
Were the lifers. The people who will always be there for GCW were the people who were there this weekend. You don't have as many of the casuals every so often coming in for. It wasn't like a TOS like, oh, I'm just a general deathmatch fan and coming in. These were the people who are living and dying by GCW, and that it kind of came across, especially on Sunday night. It was super tight knit of the crowd that knew exactly what their spot was supposed to be in regards to chance or what the reaction should be for a certain spot or whatnot. So
And you guys hit it on the head with Blake too. I hope Blake turns that into another little video as he did before, and have just fuck you, and have it like drown out. I think him using the social media, continuing to do this would be really good for whatever he has planned now. And I think that AC crowd provided a clippable moment. And that's what I thought of when they came back to him. Was like, this would be a cool social media thing that he could put out. All right. Oh, God damn it. Our next match is for the JCW title as Masha Slamovich defends it against Stop This Guy's Time, Griffin McCoy.
Wake me up after this match.
I will do my best
this
because
time, man.
All right. So Griffin gaining heat is more GCW become familiar with him and his style that was more featured on JCW. Again, I just want to, he has a watch. Masha comes out like the champ she
his
is.
Gimmick is that he went to Canal Street one time. That's his. Like,
I want to see him do well. I want to see all people do well. He'll get it.
I want to see him come the next show with like just green outline on his wrist.
Right.
Why didn't he do that? Just a Sharpie, just a fucking Sharpie watch.
Fake ass watch.
If you didn't hear the crowd, because I know certain chants don't come over well. The entire for a minute when he was like using the watch as a brass knuck, it was like that shit's fake.
I heard that one came across. That shit's fake came across.
And then as we were chanting that shit's fake, the only thing I could think of was like, I'm a wrestling fan chanting that shit's fake at a wrestling show. I'll let that sit.
I'll go back here. A few minutes in, Kerry Morton comes out to save Griffin. Again, I like that team. Masha wants to fight them both at the same time. What happens if they both win? After a small tussle, Megan Bain came out to for the save on Masha. We now have a 2-on-2. Interesting that the match went this route. I like the idea. I would have saved this for a bigger event. Janela shows up, hits Griffin. Masha and Megan cover McCoy for the win. Our winner here, Masha Slamovich and Megan Bain. Anything that needs to be said about this match?
This was a setup. This was a setup match for Joey's promo. There was nothing else to say about it. It was a wrestling match. TM, as I've said all week, as I've said all show.
3 minutes and 45 seconds, and the second half of the match was 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Hold on. What did you say? It's a wrestling TM? What? I'm an idiot here.
Like, I'm just saying, like, that's my catchphrase. It sure was a wrestling match.
Oh,
you know.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of all the wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life, that sure was one of them.
Here we go. Yes, never in my life have I prayed more for a squash match before. Ever. I was waiting for a squash. And here's where I kind of go off into Masha again here. This is not a shot at Masha. I love her as a wrestler. She's had 12 defenses of this belt. None of them have been memorable to me outside of the collective one. She had a really good collective. I forgot who it was against in this from Stardom. That was the most memorable JCW title defense, in my opinion. So she's a really great wrestler. I love how she's versatile in death matches and all this stuff. She is above this belt. And I'm going back to earlier. And I think that's why I think the level of talent that she's like defending it to, kind of like what Blake, it kind of his title defense. Masha defending this against Griffin McCoy. Sorry. And you need another little backup and Kerry Morton. Sorry. Like, that's not good enough for Masha, in my opinion. So here's what I would do with Masha and a now not strapped up Rena. Put Rena and Masha together. Go have them as a surprise pop up against Violence is Forever. That is a matchup that they could hold their own. They are a credible threat to Violence is Forever. Strap up Rena, strap up Masha as tag titles. Let them go. Let them go through the tag divisions. They're very versatile. You can have death matches. You can have them against the Bang Bros. I think would be good, and like maybe not stylistically fresh, but we've seen them adapt to different styles and have really good matches in these different styles. So for me, that's what I would do. Arena and Masha.
They were trusted to main event Korakuen.
Thank you.
I could definitely see that.
And how I haven't looked at the tag lineage yet. I wanted to. I made a note. I should have.
I'll do that for you right now.
Rena and Masha, like these two women, that's a historic title reign with their backup, and now you got the former world champion, former UV champion, now as tag champions, defending that belt. I think you could do a lot of cool stuff with them as a tag team. And I just think that fits them both right now more than what this JCW title is doing for Masha. I want to see the JCW title go to Kerry Morton, elevate the younger talent, elevate Alec Price, build up Griffin McCoy in some other bullshit form, not this stop time, but let him reestablish himself and build up. Like, that's what I want to see. And the fact that Masha has to demand a handicap match is hysterical to me, but also shows me there's not really a good plan for this JCW title. Like, that kind of just shit on everybody, every like future kind of, not future, but like, unless you build up a credible threat, like that kind of just shit on any
I got the tag
possible.
lineage for you too when you
Go ahead.
when you want. Starting from Hammerstein, Tremont and Gage took it off of the Briscoes. The Briscoes took it back in Collective Dallas. Bussy took it off the Briscoes a week later. We had Macizos on their second run after that.
So yeah, they'd be the first all-female, like they'd be the first female tag team. And I just think that's cool.
The Briscoes took it back from Macizos. Then the Mega Bastards, Macizos third time. The Machine Guns after that. Jordo and Nick Wayne. Then Takashi Sasaki and Toru Segura. They took that at Homecoming? Yeah, it looks like they took it at Homecoming.
Yep.
And then Macizos for a fourth time, and then Violence is Forever, and they've had it for a year.
So, I mean, that's for me what I would do. Like, I just feel like Masha's above this JCW title. I think that could be used better to elevate younger talent. As you said, I view that as like the IC title that could be used as like, especially they always now are, all these matches are focusing on the JCW matches, title matches, has a set of rules. They should have done that since day one, not have Jordan Mansour cause that. Like, that's why I complained that day one. I love the match, but I was hoping the JCW would follow the JCW tournament rules. And his first defense when he's all over the place with
make it a pure belt.
Yeah, yes. Make it completely different than what we could see in an extreme match or ultraviolet match. So I wanted to see it go back to that. And another person in this match, I would love to see it. Megan Bain, I think, would be a great JCW champion as well, too. So I just would like to see it off Masha, elevate other talent, and move Masha. Like, similar situations. Keep having her do these other good matches or something. She's getting a lot of these spotlight matches, too, with these Impact and Ring of Honor, all these other wrestlers from other companies. She's getting just like Joey is. So I think that's good for her, but this JCW title is not it for me right now.
I'll just put this up here real quick. I think Garbage Daddy should take it, especially since we know Radrick and Price will be around. I worry about Masha's TNA commitments, especially since she's going to beat Jordan. I think that's a very real situation. And we know how GCW is. They will definitely move around most companies if the company needs them.
And see, and I would move Masha and Rena when they start to, like, whenever they're going to lose, start causing some friction there. And now you got a Rena Masha feud again. Now, like, as Frank was saying, they made an event in Japan, but that was probably one of the best matches of the year in GCW. And I would love to see them have a set feud of just crazy.
I'm not so worried about Masha cutting and running, especially since we've already been in this situation where Masha's been splitting time with GCW and TNA for two years now, more than 2 years now at this point.
Yeah.
If she would have just been all in on TNA, she would have left already. The fact that she's still showing up for these matches for GCW means that she's here for the long term, and I'm not as worried as somebody like Justice going to MLW or whoever he went to recently. Where did he go to MWA? I think is that where he got signed?
No way.
I forget. Justice got signed somewhere.
I thought it was MLW.
Was it MLW?
My guess would be
MLW. No.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you what
I think he got signed. So I forgive me because I forget where he got signed, but he did get signed by
Justice. Gets signed by NWA. I might check out NWA from now. That might be the name that gets me check out NWA. See Justice causing some shit over there.
That's I'm more worried about a situation like that because Justice has been spotty, for lack of a better word, recently, appearing or not appearing, versus Masha, who has been pretty consistently been there all the time. And I think that's a testament to MLW. Yeah, great one, just said MLW. I think that's a testament to TNA's batch filming, where they go in and film for, are they still batch filming like they used to?
Could not tell you.
I don't know.
because TNA for a long time was just like filming a month at a time.
Yeah.
Like over the course of a weekend. So I think that
They probably still are doing that.
I think that opens people up like Masha to do the indies more if they're only doing TNA a week at a time.
This kind of goes into the shit I was talking about Cardona with the stable. Kerry Morton, I think, would be a nice little piece of Cardona's.
I think we just need to see more Kerry Morton because he's only popped up a handful of times.
He was here for a while. It's like there was like a good like 6. He was on like in LA, Arizona, like consistently, and I was kind of like we were happy to see him that often, and then we didn't see him for a while. So I want to see him come back, and as you said earlier, but with a purpose and a meaning, not just kind of a throwaway and a Griffin McCoy.
Well, I mean, I think this week was meant to be more impactful than it was, but it just ended up that this past AC weekend kind of ended up as a wet fart. But
all right, John, you want to tell us where that leads us to our promo after you turn off the mute button there? I see you getting excited.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. All right. This is going to be really fun. You know, it's nice
I know
that
this
you've
is your
learned.
part.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and just pull this up real quick right here. I want to go ahead and thank you so much. So after this match, Joey comes out. He's obviously wrapped up.
Cut the frame.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Last night's situation there. And I wanted to go ahead and instead of just talking about what he said, I felt it was better to just listen to it fresh and judge from there. So I'll go ahead and let this play and everybody enjoy for here just a moment here and go.
I speak for all you guys and the guys and the girls in the back. Yesterday was a day that we all never wanted to happen. The day that Alex Jones looking motherfucker Bully Ray stepped foot in the Joey Janela territory.
That's real.
And I also speak for all you guys, and I say right here, right now, that the sports entertainment era of Game Changer Wrestling fucking sucks.
Now it does.
Month after month, Matt Cardona has polluted this place with nonsense and immature bullshit that I won't stand for. Last night at the Art of War Games, Bully Ray walked out that curtain. They lit a table on fire and proceeded me to slam me through it, in which I received serious, very fucking serious, second-degree burns all over my shoulders, my arms, and my back. Year after year, I've been here since the fucking beginning. I helped build this fucking place. Marcus Crane helped build this fucking place. Danny Havoc helped build this fucking place. Nick fucking Gage fucking blood buckets to build this motherfucking place. And now it's time to restore that feeling. No more letting these fucking these old bloodsuckers coming in the ring and sucking our blood for another spot in the spotlight. It ends today. 2025, we restore the feeling of GCW blood violence. The best independent fucking wrestling in the fucking world. Bully Ray, you made a big fucking mistake, and you're gonna find out why my reputation is what it is, because everyone around the world since the birth of GCW always knew and echoed the fact that Joey Janela is a bad boy!
All right, there we go. Anybody have some thoughts before I say anything? Because I just went ahead and posted on Twitter. I'm gonna say some shit. So who wants to start? Anybody?
Floor is yours. I've talked enough tonight.
All righty. Oh, Blake Christian came in. True knowledge is this, and knowing that you know nothing at all. Here we go, spitting bars.
God damn it, Blake.
Hey man, you know what? We go as blind as we can. You know what I mean? We're at the fan level. You know how that is. Okay. I put here that was a real promo. I want to give him credit first off because he's in pain and chances are he's cutting that promo on painkillers. Not easy whatsoever. I felt this was a much needed state of GCW that we've been missing. Game Changer Weekly and fans have been in the dark about the company's goals for a while. Will they go sports entertainment? Will they go back to what made them popular? Finally, we now know. Joey spoke to the fans' core. I felt it was motivating, bringing pride to being a GCW fan. I haven't felt that good in a while. It also needed to come from Joey. Weeks ago on this show, we stated we're just tired and run down of heels. I said the feel good of GCW has been gone for a while now. I've spoken to a ton of fans. 85% of our voters said they want Joey Janela's classic style of GCW over Cardona's sports entertainment era. They all agreed we'd like more storylines, more deathmatch wrestling, more scrambles, and more lucha. I used to feel like I was missing some huge spots if I missed a show. Where are those huge spots? Most importantly, we want a home we all like. Fuck the terminal. It sucks. It's not GCW. It's not us. The fans don't like it. It's not worth the discount. Listen to what the fans want and deliver. Do what we do here at Game Changer Weekly. Strengthen the base. And thank you for supporting us. I'll say this. If there's now gauge money on the table to spend on talent, do it. We're growing horizontally, but not vertically. 750 to 1,000 per venue should be common by now. It's been years. It's time to reestablish GCW as the leader in deathmatch wrestling. If they don't, someone else will. Currently, it's slipping away. Gage going out the door turns eyeballs, and GCW needs to answer to show that they can keep pushing forward. If we're going back to the core of GCW, could we possibly read and post live tweets again on air? I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Fans want to see their tweets being broadcast around the world. It makes them tweet about you more. This is how GCW would increase engagement and trend more on Twitter. Go back to that. The only thing better than GCW is an interactive GCW. Let fans vote on a match of the night. Fuck it. I mean, why not? We're in the age where this can be done. Imagine fans tune in for their hand-picked main event. Maybe throw in a stipulation. Maybe we just talk about, vote on a stip. What do you want? Let's bring all this together under one roof. Same with our show. Let's integrate further. Be one with the fans. Using the eyeball test, when I watch the shows, it seems GCW's been stagnant for a while in AC. It doesn't seem like a trend. It looks more like it's become a regular thing. Either you bring a show fans want to see or you don't. So I feel, again, bring back the feel-good GCW. I believe Brett he's had almost a decade to test things, fail and succeed. He knows himself and his business and what he wants. I think if he's going to reestablish the brand, then it's fair to do it all with an attitude. Hit the ground running, come out swinging for the fences. We could make this GCW's attitude era for all I give a fuck. It's a big fuck you to everyone else. Show them who's the alpha. Make the rest look second rate. Get ECW style hungry again. Reestablish who's the best in the world in independent fucking wrestling. Let's make GCW the party that all the people want to be at again. The fans are waiting. It's on you. That's what I kind of wanted to say about it.
Yeah. No, preach.
By all means, anybody else wanted to say something? I just figured if anybody's going to throw their ass out there, get crucified, I'll just say it like I mean it, because I feel like we've tap danced around a lot of things. We've covered up a lot of shit, you and I, Brent. You know what I mean? The first year, there were some bad matches that, I mean, every show has a bad match here or there, but we've covered up some shit and been like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. You know what? It's okay to just get honest with this. I think this was a weekend where, like you said, Frank, this was a vote of no confidence. Something has to change. Something has to turn around. The same old shit is not working. Things have to become fun again.
I had more than one other content creator friend like start his like, you know, notes for like his own podcast. And I've said, like, you should just call the show. Well, that happened, you know. going into Saturday night, we expected the show to be not good. We expected the show to be, well, this is going to suck, but we're here, so let's make the best of it. We were not excited for this fucking cage match. I mean, this turned into exactly what we hated about WWE. It's like, this was a match. It was a match looking for a storyline, not a storyline looking for a match.
Yep.
Like I said, the next night, Cardona losing to Cole made no sense. Like, why did you get Cardona and get him deathmatch routes? You get all this momentum, and now they run GCW.
That was the cage match they ran because it's Fight Club. We got to run Hell in a Cell. It's like, it's October. Somebody's got to have a blood feud that ends in Hell in a Cell, even though it could have been a fucking.
And Hell in a Cell becomes watered down. It becomes watered down because
matches. Yep.
Right, they're not putting people in the matches because they deserve to be. They're putting people in the matches to fill Hell in a Cell up. It's a different way. Yeah.
And I said it before that the 8-man War Games was not. There was not enough traffic. There was not enough traffic in the ring to warrant 2 rings in that match.
Yeah. See, I'm a Joey. Go.
I was just going to say, if they had a cage that was bigger than the ring, you know what I mean? One of those classic, like WWE, where the ring extends 4 to 5, maybe 6 feet outside of the ring, so where they could fight around it. That would probably be a better answer than having 2 rings.
You were looking for more of an open top cell rather than a cage.
Yes. Personally, that doesn't make me. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you. You hit it on the head. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So here's my thing on the Joey thing, because I kind of been saying that restore the feeling too. Like, I feel like Mance Warner his title run has, for me, been restoring at least the main event scene and everything that I loved about GCW and got involved with GCW. He's given me those kind of style matchups and main events. But I think here's where GCW's kind of, we've fallen on, let's take the Bully Rays, the Raj Desis, let's take these other names that we kind of get every once in a while. And then, like, they don't invest in, like, they invested in Jordan. Like, they sat there and gave Jordan stories, and Nick Wayne, like, the young talent that they've, like, elevated up. Like, they've had, like, a purpose, and they built and invested in these wrestlers, where I feel like now we're not investing in anything other than just the big names of making cool moments, which was cool during the sports entertainment era. But I just think, like, it was fun. Like, I'm not going to shit on it. Like, it ran its course. It was good, but now it's time to move on. And I think now's the time to move on. Like, I was thinking they had to go a different way of go Ring of Honor and create memorable cards and moments at Hammerstein and have these cool matchups that are one in a lifetime, that the only place you're going to see it's GCW, which they still do. But also, like, they got to fight the deathmatch fight, as John was saying in his stuff. Like, do we want to be the best deathmatch in the world? And I think right now they are kind of rebuilding their deathmatch and how they're being viewed at, I think, with all these newer names coming back to GCW. But I think if they do a Hammerstein show, they got to do a Hammerstein-esque show and just create a bunch of holy shit moments. Like, I liked the card the first time around.
So
hated the results. I hated the results, and now, like, if you do a second time, you got to do right by the fans. But now it's like, I think a second Hammerstein this far away, and where GCW has kind of gone since then, is now the time to restore that feeling.
Is that the downswing from when GCW was the hottest fucking thing in professional wrestling? It all turned at Hammerstein. That's when Reddit turned on GCW. That's when Twitter turned on GCW. Was that Hammerstein was just, for our purposes, it was a stinker. It didn't do what we wanted to do. The only cool moment of Hammerstein was that they didn't announce Gage, thinking that was when Gage had his first, am I out the door moment.
Yeah.
And then, right at the end when they said, oh, okay, it's Gage. And then Brett tweeted out, you thought. That was cool. And that hyped up, that hyped up the core fan base. Beyond that, it people were treating
all
it
the
as
GCW people lost.
Yeah.
That's kind of shitty. Like, if you want to see our best jobs out and loses. Like,
Yeah,
why?
so like that's why
was the
I'm going with this Bully Ray. It doesn't make sense. Like the Raj Desi, like at least he wrestled twice, but then like as great one said earlier, we haven't seen him around. Like these names we haven't seen around. Like I would like to keep around or start like at least do something with them if you're going to have him lose or make a like elevate GCW, not just invite these names that just shit on us and use us. Like I that Ali promo, like I mentioned on the podcast, like that raised me up. Like that's the people we need in GCW that wants to be here to elevate the product. But you get those kind of people like to fill up a Hammerstein show, like, yeah, the name value is not up there, but the in-ring quality, if they put on an in-ring quality Ring of Honor kind of show back in the day with the talent they got now, that I think that would go a long way of reestablishing what GCW can restore the feeling that I used to have. And I'm starting to get the feeling again, but like this weekend I was like down, but then I'm kind of up because like Joey's promo did help get me excited for the deathmatch part. I want the kind of like the Ring of Honor part to kind of
you want the buffet of you want the lucha and you want the big.
I want everything.
The
variety,
big
just as we're told we're going to get.
When we're in AC, give me all the damn death matches. When we're in LA, give me all the lucha. Like wherever we're at, take advantage of it, especially if we're going to stay with this deathmatch stuff. Don't let the deathmatch stuff fall away after NGI, which I'm afraid of is going to happen. Like we're getting all this death matches to hype us up for NGI, and then after NGI, we might not see that UV title defended for who knows how long or how often again. So I'm hoping NGI does helps restore the feeling for the deathmatch version and fans for GCW, because I know that's and I think taking a hit, and I think the other stuff will find its course and find its way. But the deathmatch needs to focus on, and other stories invest in our talent, not invest in random names to come down for a weekend.
Wow. Anything else you want to blow off, Frank? I think we're all getting it out right now.
No, I think I kind of sprinkled that in through the rest of the show already.
Well, I hope everybody feels a little better about it, because honestly, I'm missing a lot of things. And sometimes I'm going to tell you, there are halves of shows where it's kind of hard to sit there and review, because there's just not much great going on. And that has to change. Who's our modern Ninja Mac? Who's some of these, where's our high flyers? Where's our cheap, young, hungry wrestlers that are willing to go out there and break their neck because they know 4 fucking moves, put them in a scramble, let them hit their 4 moves, get them the fuck out? Like, what happened to that? That was fun.
Where's the fucking Brat Pack? Bring the Brat Pack back, that crew was insane. We need more of that.
All right, hold on, Blake. You can't say that right when I just said we need like the Blakes, the Alex Zanes, like those fresh new names that were innovative. Like I think that's what we're missing too, is those kind of style of wrestlers. And as I said that, Blake's like,
yeah, fuck you, Blake. Come back, Blake.
Blake's like, I'm out the door.
We love you. He's
Cardona.
He's a smart guy. He knows better. We love him out here.
Hit up Cardona to bring you back here.
Blake, I would definitely like to see a face Blake come back, because that's just when he really flourished with the fans. And I think we needed to be reminded of who he is and what he's capable of from that side. So fingers crossed. Either way, we'll love you, bud. Don't leave. Don't leave me. All right. So that was it on that match.
All right. We'll go to the death match as John Wayne Murdoch goes against Lou Nixon.
Lou Nixon. Murdoch was wearing a Pacific North Death shirt. It was sad that he missed that show. Sorry to hear about his father. And I want you to know that, it seemed that Murdoch was really putting a lot of oomph into that show up there. And they put on a hell of a show, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with saying that whatsoever.
I still got to check out that show.
Yeah, man. Totally worth it. And again, as long as you know that they had 4 or 5, maybe 6 major names that fell out at the very end, I mean, they still made, one hell of a show out of it. Lou's way over with the fans. I know I put that on my first note, but it created such an impression I had to put it again. I saw a gusset tennis racket, chairs, glass panes, barbed wire bat, to name a few. Lou really enjoyed this match. He was very comfortable. You could see that from the get-go. It was a very bloody affair, but real wrestling happened here. This was not just swinging of the tubes. Murdoch knows how to both wrestle and tell a story, and I feel like he did a great job with Lou. As for Lou, he's slowly earning a solid deathmatch spot at GCW if he's willing to do so. Fans spoke out loud Lou fucking Nixon chants over and over. Our winner here, John Wayne Murdoch, with the roll-up at the 10.5-minute mark. Again, please come back chants are constantly attached to Lou Nixon. He goes to a camera, mentions a few British death matchers like Big Fucking Joe, and he says UK death match is on top. Let's do something about this. I love Big Fucking Joe. Again, money's on the table.
We could have had a situation where we could have had UK death match. I wonder if we could have had some interesting big multi-man situation where we could have shown off UK death match. But
I'm about to give Blake I'm about to give Blake an invite over here. That's not always his thing.
But like I've said it 1,000 times tonight. It's like the fact that we ran through another fucking like a deathmatch royalty, storyline when we had UK versus US just sitting right there. Nixon and Tremont were both wearing Wrestling Fears Tremont versus Nixon shirts. If you didn't see them, that's what the shirt said. It said Wrestling Fears Nixon versus Tremont. If you could have had that in War Games, even as a 4-on-4, like UK versus US would have done so much more in the space of 2 rings than deathmatch royalty versus Effie and friends would have done.
And this is why I wouldn't have had deathmatch royalty win. Like I would have used that moment to start the restoring of the feeling. Have that promo come. If Joey did that promo the next night, like that's going to get the fans hyped and excited for.
I understand why they didn't though, because I said it before, peaks and valleys, and somebody else in chat said it before. It's like you need to have the lows to start off and make that climb even longer.
But that's a low, man. Like, look at that's a low right now. Like, I think
that's the least of our problems with the War Games match right now.
True.
Listen to you two. I had to step away and let you two just go at it while I'm contemplating what true knowledge is. I'll say it right up front. I am making all of my assumptions just like the rest of us on the limited knowledge as fans get. If I know anything else, I don't even put it into there.
Listen, I know as much about professional wrestling as Stephen A knows about basketball.
I know as much as I'm shown.
Nothing.
That's the good way to put it. Yeah, it's true belief with an account. Oh, see, now here we go with the good stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay. Was there anything else on that one? Because we're down to our main event on night 2.
Lou looked good. I liked how he looked, and the crowd chanting "Please come back" was a good part too. And obviously we got that because I think they announced him for 2 or 3 more dates, so that was a good thing.
Yes, I think today they announced him for 2 shows.
Yeah. All right, our main event of Fight Club Night 2. Feels like Tremont main evented like last year's nightclub too. Feels like you've always been to these crazy shows. Ciclope versus Bulldozer Matt Tremont.
You and Blake Christian are going at it on Twitter right now. Is that what's going on, Brand?
No, I just said I just said the true knowledge. Like I looked it up in Chat GPI, and
I'm no part of this. I love you both. I don't want to see my parents fight.
I'm trying to help them out. This is Chat G, whatever this is.
Oh, I'm fucking with you.
I know.
Okay,
I'm very interested with this Blake Christian. Like, sorry, I know that I say this, but like it intrigues me. I like the ending right there.
You know what? The next promo he has, I want him to pull the "What's True Knowledge" thing and work it in somewhere.
That's why I think that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's going to be like the next video is going to be "What's True Knowledge," and then like everybody's showing their true knowledge of "Fuck you, Blake," and go home.
Hey, whatever is well thought out and well executed, I'll take 100%. Cyclope and Matt Tremont both loved, thinking Tremont was going to pull it over Cyclope from the beginning here, given the push of what's going on with the championship situation. Tremont's forehead was cut very early, door bridges were broken, lots of tubes were used, and chairs were swung. Cyclope was throwing tubes horizontally towards Tremont, which I have to say is very dangerous for the crowd. I'm happy that nothing crazy came out of that. I think that's just me being a dad, being a little uptight prick about deathmatch wrestling. Our winner here was Cyclope, a huge victory, less than 9 minutes long. Immediately after the match, you saw Cyclope check on Tremont and give him a huge hug. That's why we love Cyclope. He just has this little bit of, he's just willing to give love, I guess. Being fair here, Tremont does need a couple GCW wins to remind people why he's such a badass. And I said GCW wins particularly only because, I don't know. Okay. It's okay to disagree.
He's hit that.
No.
He's hit that Undertaker level where it doesn't matter if he wins.
I think
that's fair. That's fair.
The fact that he's in there in the first place is enough to elevate his opponent, saying, "Okay, he's against the bulldozer," and he took on Matt Tremont. Matt Tremont has enough street cred built up over his long career that he can take this losing streak and on his. And
then when he gets the win, it's like a big pop. Like it's kind of like a big surprise. Like, oh shit, like he did it. Tremont still got it, kind of thing. Because he usually does it against big names. Like I do like that kind of feeling with him.
But these Cyclope matches or something where I forgive me for saying this again, but in the grand scheme, it's not a big deal if Tremont loses a match against Cyclope, especially when Cyclope literally just won #1 contendership last night. We all knew it was sort of going to happen that way.
So Cyclope gets on the mic and said it's just him and Mance Warner one-on-one. He's calling for exactly what we asked for on a previous show, a Cyclope GCW World Title Challenge in LA. That's money. What's up. The people out there are going to go nuts for Cyclope. Macizos go over like wildfire in LA. So I just felt like this was the right thing to do.
Shirt.
Sorry, bud.
Cyclope shirt's getting busted out this weekend.
Nice.
Got to do it. I like this match too. I'm happy to see Cyclope finally get a main event match. Like I said, he's worked hard. It was kind of cool him being like the focal point. We've seen Miedo get that with winning TOS. That was kind of cool seeing Cyclope get that treatment as well. I don't think there's any shot he wins against Mance Warner, but I'm hoping, as he said, I finally get you one-on-one. I'm hoping Miedo comes out and they continue their feud and do some stuff, but
I think this leads into the Miedo, the Mazizo Civil War, and I think that's going to be the angle he's going to be in.
Yep,
probably till Mania, and I wouldn't hate that.
No, like I said, I want to if that's where they're going, and if they're building to I don't know, we don't know a venue yet out here in Vegas, but if we get Planet Death Reborn out here and able to do some death matches for Collective, and I want to see Miedo, Cyclope have the death match, but like I was saying earlier, the visual of just Miedo standing in LA over Cyclope, ending the night, getting shit thrown at him, I think would be so impactful and good for wherever they are planning to go with Miedo, Cyclope, if that's is a thing still with Miedo, supposedly walking away from GCW, but I think that will elevate him. And I think I've loved them since day one. I think they've definitely have earned this spot of being a focal point of the main event of this show, main event of LA. Miedo and Cyclope having a cool one-on-one feud deserves the spotlight, and I'm glad to see them finally having it. And I'm excited to see, I'm excited for everything. That's why, like I said, this whole restoring the feeling, I was super excited until Deathmatch Royalty run and seeing Bully Ray. That kind of ruins it for me, but I am excited for Rena, for Masha, for hopefully somebody take Violence is Forever's belt. What Brandon Kirks does with this belt. What Mance is going to do now after this. We don't know after Cyclope of a possible next feud or opponent. So I'm excited to see all this stuff to happen over the next couple of weeks here.
Great one. I'm just going to tell you, it's kind of funny. On the Vegas venue, it's almost sport to brick wall me on what building it's going to be in. I have no idea still. Brett said he was waiting on his graphic designer to go ahead and push everything out. But yeah, I honestly have absolutely no scoop on that whatsoever, unfortunately. I hope it's somewhere easily accessible so we don't have to park somewhere and then walk 2 miles to get to somewhere. And I hope it's somewhere that's at least decently lit.
Okay.
Speaking of decently lit, it's going to be a great time out here. I'll tell you that much right now. I really hope
Marijuana jokes.
I got them for days, man. Yeah, I really hope that you guys better be doing your push-ups. It's going to be fun out here.
Nice.
Just saying it now. Yeah, whatever they're going to do in Las Vegas, I really hope they throw the kitchen sink at us. It's been 2 years since Las Vegas has seen a show, so we're primed for that. We're going to have WrestleMania weekend, so there's going to be a lot of foreigners come in, and it's going to be able to see GCW for the first time. If there's going to be any locals, put them on the fucking pre-show. I don't want to pay $90 for a front row seat to see $20 talent. I want it to be a huge show.
90. It's going to be... You ready to shell out 500 to 600 for collective?
Well, I'm just saying for one, I don't even want to know how many shows there are because I'm afraid to know how much I have to save because it's me and 2 other people.
Yeah. And like 7 other people.
But
we
no hotel.
All the Cowboys too.
Yeah.
Dude.
Hey,
go ahead.
We're going to have to hit you up on the rides and shows and stuff because I'll be able to hook you up with that at least.
And I'm going to see what we can do to maybe get all of our people in the front row kind of all together. Cause I would like to coordinate just going batshit crazy just to see what it does to the venue.
Oh yeah.
It's just too much fun in LA. And we did it in Las Vegas. And
I was about to say, we kind of have that.
Like, you guys are electric.
I was about to say, we kind of had that. Raleigh was with us in Vegas too.
Yeah. Arizona, the Nile does so well. But yeah, great one. As soon as I can get something, if I can get something, I'll let you know privately so that it's not some,
Blake, don't say maybe no next promo. Hit up Matt Cardona. Hit up Leo Rush. You'll find yourself, Blake. Leo Rush is who I think. I want to see the Leo Rush bring the Black Heart, bring out the All Heart, and that's what I would like to see that next.
And I just want to see success. That's all I care for.
Everybody have fun.
I'm going to go ahead and go through our upcoming shows real quick. We have Friday, October 18th, GCW's War Ready from the Quarry at Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Golden, Colorado.
That was a fun venue last time they were on TV. That was a fun. Well, that was that stadium, that really raked seating stadium venue.
So, I think it reminded us of Talia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I know what it was. You know what? No. I remember those are like the old TNA days where they used to be at the fairgrounds. I love fairgrounds. Fucking love fairgrounds. Effie versus Rina Yamashita is going to be going down. Here's another one. Jack Evans versus Gringo Loco. Our fucking definite blood match of the night. Dr. Redacted versus Orin Fight. Brooke Havoc versus
blood.
Yeah, that's going to be nasty. Brooke Havoc versus Dulce Tormenta. I think that's going to be another big one. Tormenta is really on the come up. She's young. She's doing damn good. Also set to appear Mance Warner, Megan Bain, and Dark Sheik. That's night 1. The next night, Saturday, October 19th, GCW's Blood on the Hills 3 from the UCC in Los Angeles, California. Scorpio Sky makes his GCW debut. That's absolutely huge. Jack Evans versus Sydney Akeem. Barn burner waiting to happen. Garbage Daddies versus C4. Another great match waiting to happen. And Chris Bay versus Broski Jimmy. Okay. Also set to appear Mance Warner, Rina Yamashita, Brooke Havoc, Megan Bain, Dark Sheik, Vipers, and Effie. Again, that's Saturday, October 19th. Blood on the Hills from the UCC in LA.
I'm sorry, but if we're going to restore this feeling in LA and UCC, there was no blood on the hills on number 2. I need blood on these hills for number 3 with Mance and Ciclope.
Dude, we had huge jokes about that, Frank. You could not believe they had blood on the hills too, and no fucking blood at the show.
Yeah.
And then the next show was To Live and Die, and I'm like, you're in LA. Why didn't you do the To Live and Die in LA? That's a Tupac song.
Yeah.
And they could have used Blood on the Hills for a time that they wanted.
Scorpio Sky announced to fight Starboy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was right before.
Oh, my bad. That must have been recently new before after I updated my notes there. Look at this.
I'm excited for LA now. Like I said, Ciclope versus Mance. I literally bought my ticket right after that happened. So that was enough for me. I'm excited for LA. I just want to see some blood on the hills this time.
Some blood on the hills.
I think you'll get it. I think Mance and Ciclope will at least go heavy hardcore, if not light death.
I think I think that venue is going to be trash afterwards. I actually see that one going kind of crazy. Like that's going to be one where Brett's walking around with his radio. I'm kind of hoping for.
If we don't see Brett ringside for that one, it's not a true death match.
Exactly right. Like I'm kind of hoping that's kind of what they will do for Ciclope, because if this is probably his, I'm just being honest here, like only title shot in the foreseeable future, I hope he's able to go and have a performance, and I think that will give it to him.
Kev's bootlegs. Nice to see you, Kev, by the way. So I'm not going to be next LA show.
LA.
It's on the same day as Guarno. Okay, so here's what's on. I just wanted to say the same thing. I'm going to be at the one in December. I'm not going to be making this month. So there's a Brant. There is a ton of people that we have interviewed that we have not had a chance to physically say thank you to face to face. So if you go there and you see anybody we've interviewed, please give them a hug and a handshake for me and tell them thank you until I can see them in December.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we did it, I think, right?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Frank, thank you again so much for coming on, man. And everything you provided was awesome. Like that was cool. Like hearing all the, like, I learned so much about the venue and stuff. Like that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
That's our senior East Coast correspondent, you know?
Wait, did he have the word senior last time, or did he get upgraded after this show?
No, I've always been the senior. No,
he is it. He is the senior.
I thought after each show we got to keep elevating to like next time it's gonna be like Corporal East Coast.
Well, Kev, have fun at the Guar show. That's gonna be kind of cool. I've never even thought about going to a Guar show. That's God, I think one of the guys just recently passed away. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Reed, great one, Blake, Kev, Blake, keep your head
clown.
On. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Holy moly!
Thank you everybody, David, clown.
Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of listeners tonight, staying up until fucking 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that.
Frank's come on, get this out of here.
All right.
2 in the morning. All right, let's get him out here.
Long. Live. That's our job.
G W C
W. What's going on over here? Later, everyone.
Good night.